everything.
Free reign to do extensive chassis, big wheels, big brakes, big motor, full interior.
Do it all.
Now we have room for activity.
1923 Sea Bucket. See the movement there.
Freeze out cruising, turns a corner, and the rear end breaks loose. You're lucky to be here.
Oh, this is beautiful, man.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. I got a call from Mario, first-time potential customer, to come by and check out his 85 Chevy. We'll see what he's got.
What's happening, Mario?
Not much, man. How are you?
Hey, good morning, man.
All right.
Good morning. This it, huh?
That's it, yeah.
85?
85.
The 85 C10, I love these trucks. I'm a little biased on these because I had one of these in high school. This was my first truck. This truck is what I started messing with. I started learning how to customize on this body style right here.
This thing looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it runs good, but I think it's gonna run better when you build it.
So what do you want to do with this thing? Lift it?
I want to slam it on the floor.
Definitely want it on the ground, huh?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. These things look so good low to the ground. As far as new engine, interior,
New everything. Frame, paint, engine.
you just want something custom.
Yes, sir.
And I like that.
Yeah.
We can build you a full custom chassis, wide 24 by 15s on the back of this.
Okay.
24 by 10s on the front. Lower this thing really low on a nice new custom frame.
Okay.
Just a total showstopper.
Okay.
Do you have any color preference in mind? I see you have the orange trucks.
Yeah, my orange trucks, that's what I want.
I see. You want this thing orange, so when you pull up at the job site, everybody knows El Jefe's here in the orange truck.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Heck yeah, this thing looks
350.
Man, Mario, so just chunk this. Just start with a brand new and something with a whole lot of power. We'll shave the firewall, come up with some nice, cool custom panels in this thing.
Okay.
Really, when you pop the hood, you just get that wow factor.
That's what I want.
Let's check out the interior of this thing.
The interior is nice.
Definitely can't have an orange truck with blue interior, so this has got to go.
Yeah, it's got to go.
The new headliner, new carpet,
Yeah.
new door panels will make this thing look good. In the bed of this thing, you're not going to be hauling anything to the job site.
No, sir.
Nothing like that. We'll build sheet metal panels all the way around this thing, smooth out the bed floor, and just bring the body color all inside thing to really make the inside of this bed look just as special as the outside and interior and the engine compartment.
Long gone are the days just spraying a bed liner or just painting what's there. You got to come with it now. You got to create something totally unique and custom.
And what do you think about my logo, a diamond?
You got to have your diamonds
Should
in
we
here.
put a real one or just put a paint one?
Man, that's up to you. You bring us a big diamond, we'll mount it in there.
Okay. Now,
This truck brings me way back. When I was 16, my dad got me this body style itself. Takes me back to driving around, listening to music real loud, and just starting to get the feel for customization. Thinking back in auto mechanics class, heating the coil springs, taking out leaf springs in the back, and just riding home with my truck super low to the ground. My dad was really angry with me. It's amazing to even think about. And I can't wait to get into this thing, get it tore apart, and really get the creative juices flowing again and create something really cool and unique for the square body world. Every part of this truck is going to be custom, and it's going to be just like nothing you've ever seen before. Come on, Timmy.
Trip down memory lane or what?
Right?
This kind of remind you of getting in trouble a little bit when you were younger, huh?
A lot. A lot of it. There's a lot of C10s out there, a lot of the square bodies. You know, seems like everybody has one in the garage. So it's going to take a lot to really stand out. He just wants us to go big on this thing. You know, the first thing we need to do is tear this thing apart and just start from scratch.
Full chassis?
Full chassis, really low to the ground.
What's that turn them big old tires?
Mario wants a Corvette engine, so I'm thinking probably an LS 7.0, you know, LS7, something like that.
Oh, wow. Man, that much power, you're just going to see a streak going down the road.
Yeah, an orange streak. His company colors are all orange, so we're going to paint this orange also. And we're going to incorporate, you know, his company logo somewhere. As far as the interior, just gut everything in here. I mean, I love these trucks, but this is one of the ugliest interiors you can get. There's no creature comfort in there at all. These square bodies just have no style. We'll just take the cab and front end off this thing and roll the rest out. We don't need it.
So basically, it's giving us a free rein to do everything. Extensive chassis, big wheels, big brakes, big motor, full interior.
Do it all.
Well, let's get started.
This is going to be cool. Let me check the front. Back when I customized my square body 30 plus years ago, I wasn't at the level of making handcrafted chassis yet. But now, we are. And Tim and Jamie are tearing everything out, including the factory chassis, so we can get a fresh start. So the bolt right here is, normally this is all kind of rotten. It's kind of expected, but got some skills right here. Go ahead and put this tool to work.
And now we got it down, all the bottom's loose. Disconnect these two mounts, roll that over. And we're gonna start wrapping everything on top of the motor.
All right, let's lift it up. Mario wants this truck sitting on the floor, and a custom chassis makes that possible. So I measured front to back and drew a sketch for Tim and Jamie to get going on.
Now this is the frame for that blue square body. You know, square bodies always look good on the ground with a big tire at the back. You're a square body guy.
I love them.
You had a couple of them?
Yep. Okay, so I'll get everything ready at the saw, and we can get to cutting.
We're going to lay the two frame rails on top of each other so we know exactly where they're cut. Now we got the pieces cut, they're beveled, ready to go together. The drawing on the table, we can line this up.
Bam! Done. Now we can undo these clamps, go ahead and stand our frame up, start building it. Now that the frame rails are built, we're going to get the right spacing. You know, the next step is just making everything lined up nice and parallel.
You got 131 and 9/16.
Nice and level. Gotta get my table level. We use this piece of 3-inch tubing to simulate the rear end itself, just so we're not manhandling the big rear end up here. Clamp it up here, get everything nice and square, and we'll just build the suspension right off of this. You know, the square body Chevy is the perfect candidate for a 2-link rear suspension. It's about 80% better than the factory leaf springs as far as body roll. You know, less moving parts, less problems you have way down the line. Man, John brought some tamales to work today. Tamales are a little cold, so I'm gonna throw this string over the heater duct. Keep the tamales up about 15 minutes, we ought to be good. Cool. Man, by the time we get done with this suspension, we're gonna have some hot tamales. Yeah. Ooh, damn. You know, frame's a little different. You know, we're at the very beginning stages of, you know, a full custom build, and the frame is one of the first things. This kind of kicks off the whole custom creative part of the process. So part of the creative process is making all the little bracketry, creating something cool and custom for each individual frame. So this one's going to be different from the one before. The next one we build, it's going to be a little bit different also. You know, everything's mocked up in place. We got our 2 links, we got our back mounts, we got our shock mounts, got our diagonal link. That's every component to the rear suspension. Time to get my tamales. Ooh, a little warm.
Yeah, hot.
You know, it's not only a fab table, it's a dinner table too, right?
I've had a few dinners right here.
Yeah. Hey, these tamales clean your hands too.
What good stuff.
Man, the old frame looks good.
Man, that was good thinking on the tamales too.
We finished the frame and rear suspension on the 85 C10 square body on the table. Now we're going to get up under the body and start making those mounts. All right, man, let's get this thing all nice and straight, a string line down to it, and then we start making some cab mounts, and we'll finish it over the front.
Coming together, man.
Once we got it level and we knew the foundation's 100% true, John's going to connect the frame to the front cross member.
What we're gonna do is build a piece that connects from our under cab frame rail to our cross member. What we're gonna do is transfer this shape to this 4x2 box tubing, and we'll slice the bottom, and we're gonna turn it into a 3x4, and it'll fit perfectly inside there. This piece I just cut out, you can see how it's wider on this end than it is over here. So once I cut the other side the exact same way, we're gonna get this edge. Now we should be right. Oh, look at that, look at that.
This 85 C10 just brings me back.
Now on with the grind, cuz.
I mean, no way we were at the level then as the level we are now, but with every craft, there's progression. And mine's been years and years in the making. And with all that experience, that means we can do it faster and better.
Man, that looks pretty good. Now we can continue off the front of the cross member to the front core support.
Y'all got, man, good morning.
Good morning. Got a
Morning.
1923 T-Bucket here for you.
That's badass, man. It's fun to drive, huh?
That's a good fixture. Yes, it is. It's awesome.
This is a fiberglass replica of a 23 T-Bucket that comes in a kit. You know, there's not really many safety options, if you know what I mean.
It's got a 350 small block in it, putting out 400 horsepower.
That's nice in something that weighs what?
About 1,300 pounds.
Yeah, like a go-kart.
Yep.
You know, I see it's holding something together, huh?
Yeah. Well, I bought it a year ago on Halloween, and finally took out for a nice ride. Took a turn, spun the rear end, crashed it
Man,
right off.
that woke you up, huh?
Yep.
Let's see what you broke here.
Let's take a look at it. As you can see, the bungee cord here, holding up the suspension.
Oh, man.
And so, yeah, you can see the quite the movement there. Yeah.
Man, that is definitely not cool. Looking underneath this car, seeing what I'm seeing is unbelievable. He's lucky to be here with us today. Any kind of bracketry on suspension breaking like that, that's bad news. And if one breaks, there's no telling what else is going on underneath there. So what we'll need to do is get it on the lift and really inspect it, go through it, and make sure it's 100% safe for you so you don't have any more issues like this. This car is here for a specific repair, but you know, it just isn't going to be right just to fix it and put it out the door. We're going to go through it, make sure everything is 100% safe, and he's good to go on the road. Maybe when we're done, we'll heat these tires up and see if we can test these wheelie bars out.
I'm down for that.
Let's go do some paperwork.
You got it. Sounds good.
You know, a custom T-Bucket's just been around, I think, since the beginning of time. You know, these cars have been cool since they started customizing, and, you know, they're still cool today. You know, this car has the bare basics. All you need is some parts and a little bit of skill. And in this case, very little skill. Because this car is built so simple, every component on it is very intricate and plays off another. And, suspension brackets are one of those very, very, very important brackets that should never fail. One of the worst things you can do is being broke down on the side of the road. Every custom car guy, that's happened to him. One of the most important things you need is that peace of mind in the back of your head, to know that you're going down the road and you're going to be safe. We're going to get old Bill hooked up and he'll be out cruising again before you know it. Usually don't be. What you think, man?
And one tire's a little further back than the other.
Needs a little alignment, huh?
More, a little bit.
Right? The guy that owns this, he went on a ride, man. But he's out cruising, turns a corner, and all of a sudden the rear end breaks loose and spins him around.
Oh.
Yeah,
God, he wasn't going down the freeway at 70, 80 miles an hour.
Right. Right. Back when you were a kid, you were riding a go-kart, didn't have nothing. That's part of the fun of just holding on real tight and giving it gas, right? But he dodged a bullet on this one for sure. Timmy, the first thing we need to do is get it in the shop, get it up on the lift, and let's pull the axle out and just completely slick it. Let's cut all the old bracketry off so there won't be anything there that can fail later. We're going to start just totally fresh, make all new brackets, all out of 1/4 inch, make it super strong so there's nothing ever going to go wrong with this ever again. While it's up in the air, we'll inspect everything just to make sure it's 100%. Give him that peace of mind back. After a traumatic incident like that, that's going to be in the back of his brain. Like, oh my God, am I going to wreck again?
Anytime you feel any bump, it's going to be...
Yeah, it's going to be that way in the back of his head for a while, for sure.
Yeah. Basically, we're fixing something that should have been done right the first time that they just sold on the internet for somebody else to be their problem.
Job security. The only way to see how broken the bracketry is to take apart the rear suspension. So I asked David to do just that.
First piece off, 300 more. You can see how, look, I'm driving down the road like that. Nice and neat. Yeah, I don't even have to do anything. This wasn't tight at all. More and more I'm under here, the more and more you see stuff that ain't right.
Look at this. This is not even, the weld is just breaking and cracking right here. It's horrible. If it wasn't just one bracket, it was going to be another one later. This is terrible. I've seen high school shop classes better than this. So what I want you to do, let's keep the caliper brackets. Okay. Let's keep the coilover brackets, and let's cut off the wheelie bar mounts. Just clean it all off. All right. Just cut right above the weld. I got you. That way we're not gouging down in it. Just cut the bracket totally off, and then you can come back and just wash the weld off. And a lot of people try to get side to side and do that, but you're gonna blow chunks out of the housing itself. So cool. Let's get this thing out and get to cutting. And that just goes to show you, when you buy a car online, don't just get in it and punch it, hold it to the floor, and just hope for the best. I mean, you really need somebody to look at it, inspect it, and make sure it's safe before you ride. I'm sure that 23 T-Bucket looked good online, but man, we got to completely rebuild the brackets to make this drive straight. We got rid of all the old unsafe bracketry that was on here. The brackets for the coilovers, they're working fine. Just the welds are kind of iffy on it. Jimmy's beveling out the old welds and gonna weld right back over it. So that way we never have to worry about it again. Then we can get into the car, start building fresh. All the way in right there. That's the one that broke off. Yes. Bushings are just totally shot. You see the hole through there? And that might have led to the shift and the jarring of it.
making it snap. To try to source that correct bushing, it's just going to take way more time than this is worth. So I think what we'll do is just make a whole new 4-link, so there's no rubber bushings in it. It's all, you know, solid swivel mount, so won't be any more play stopping and starting. You know, anytime we do multiples of anything like this, we always try to set up a jig so there's no mismeasuring, there's no mistakes. You know, once you have your measurements right the first time, they're going to be right every time.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this 1 1/4, 10.5 inches. That's going to be our upper link bars. Go ahead and cut the ends off so another square. Then I'll go ahead and grab my 10 inches, cut that, put it in the pipe cleaner, sand it, bring it back to bill, start making link bars. So you can see I got my bungs welded in, got my heims in, now we got 2 identical link bars. Well, these are not going to wear out like the rubber bushings are. It's got a lot more pivot to it. It's just all out better bushing.
Up the front end on the 85 square body.
Next step is putting the motor in. We'll put the motor in. We got to have enough clearance for the transmission right at the cab. You don't want to pull the doors off, the front end off. Go this way. It just gives me a lot of extra space and a lot of room to work. It's going to make everything go a whole lot faster and not having to climb in and be crinkled up. Check out these gems. You know, this tells you how far stereos have come over the years. Somebody in the 80s, this was something that was probably pretty loud. You go down the road and, oh man, check this out. It's been a good run, guys. Time to go. And now we have everything stripped down. Gives us plenty of room to get in here. We're gonna need to cut this out because the new transmission running. We're probably gonna need about 6 or 8 inches in here to clearance it and put the body all the way on the ground. Now we have room for activity. What we're doing now is we're going to clean up this whole firewall. We're going to get rid of all pocket. This pocket's to make the water drain off from the windshield. So I'm going to cut below the pocket so that it keeps all this weather tight. No water gets inside the cab.
As you can see, Timmy did a nice job of making all these holes. Now it's my turn to go back and fit them all back in. I need a panel on there so I can place the bulkhead fittings that go from outside the cab AC to inside the cab AC. Seems legit. Now we got this panel stuck in place, we can lay out a design of what we're going to bead roll on this panel. We got all the major components laid out. The brake booster, steering column, bulkhead fittings for the AC. Now that that's all in place, we can get into the artistic point of it and drawing out everywhere we want to bead roll these panels. First thing is to kind of lay out a border on the perimeter around the whole edge. That way we don't go beyond that. Now we could draw something in between it and connect it. Now we got our designs laid out, we could take it over to the bead roller and follow the rolls on these lines and make some beads. Full throttle, baby. Then cut the holes out. We want to keep these plates solid, so when we form it with the rolls, it doesn't over warp the panel more than it should. We have our pattern transferred to give it this 3D contour with the bead roller. Not only does it give it style, it makes it a lot stronger. Now I'm gonna move on to the second one and get these put back on the firewall. Now we got them done, clamp back in, looks symmetrical, that's what we want. Now they can get welded in. chassis. This big 6.0 LS is gonna give this square body some get up and go. We got a heart in place.
The 85 C10 built frame and suspension all mounted, and now the guys are getting going on slicking the bed out.
Oh. We need to smooth all this out. The sides, the bed floor, the notch cover, the tubs, get all that 100%.
10 mark lines on every high part of the bed. And what we're gonna do is draw straight lines on this panel, and we're gonna drill holes. All those holes could get welded down to what's already here. That way this metal is bonded to this. That way if you're driving down the road, you won't have this making that rattling noise or anything, and it makes everything stronger because it's all tied in together.
All we're doing now is put some marks on here so we know where to grind the old paint off the bed.
It's paneling off all the inside of the bed. That way we don't have no open space. They'll all be smooth out.
All right, now we have the sheet in here. You can see the holes. It's shiny here. It's shiny on the bottom, which gives us a clean surface to weld to. Once we get all this welded in here, then we'll come back and we'll cut out where the tubs go. We'll put the notch cover. So when you look at this thing, it'll be a sheet metal tub, a sheet metal notch cover, a sheet metal tub, and all flat all the way around.
These 1923 T-Bucket kit cars are already missing a ton of safety features, but the rear end, it could have killed somebody. We're gonna rebuild this whole thing until I'm 100% sure it's safe to drive again. The last thing I'm gonna do is add a cross member underneath here so we can come down and bring a bracket, hang on the outside of this bolt. This bolt supports every bit of the torque, power to the engine, right to the ground. I got the tab tacked into place. I'm gonna pull this off, have the body guys prime it, and then put it back up. I've got the cross member all primed up. That way there's no rust back behind it. It's ready to weld it in. Last thing's paint after that. We color match all the revamped rear end right to Ford Racing Red. Good. Now we're going to reinstall the wheelie bars, the coilovers, and get these wheels back on the road.
Man, this thing looks a lot better. Looks safe, and I bet.
Yeah, it's going to be way better now. After a few unforeseen problems, redesigning, a little bit of fixing, it's finally time to give the T-Bucket back. What's happening, Ben?
How we doing, sir?
Man, doing good. Doing good. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Ben, I
Can't wait to
bet.
see this.
Bill, when you came in, you had a really cool car with a huge problem.
That I know.
Well, we got it in the shop, went through everything. We're going to give you that trust back, that confidence of knowing when you hit the gas pedal, it's going to go straight down the road with no brackets breaking.
Nice, that's what I'm looking for.
Well, let's check it out.
You got it. I'm excited. Look at this, baby.
Back going again?
Love it.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
What you think, man? It's all nice and straight now?
Yeah, 1000% better. They really cleaned up that axle. It's freshly painted. It looks awesome. Can't wait to get it back on the road.
Everything's where it's supposed to be now and super strong. First thing we did is get it on the lift and just pull the rear end out, ratchet straps and all. And just slicked off all the wheelie bar brackets and the 4-link brackets. Pretty much just hit them with a hammer and new 4 links and the bracketry. And then we had my boy Victor chrome them for you. So it looks, like it did when it was originally built.
See a couple added extra supports up underneath there.
It really needed that. That was the weak point of the whole suspension. That transfers all the torque from the engine itself right down to the ground. All that was just hinging on one bolt. So we went in, made a little cross member, came down with another bracket, and and made it super strong for you. So
Not gonna hit my left arm this
never,
time.
ever gonna happen again. You can have all the confidence in the world that when you hit the gas now, everything's gonna stay where it's supposed to be and shoot you straight down the street.
Oh, I can see it already.
You know, we get a lot of projects through here, sometimes small, sometimes large, but in this case, very dangerous. This is the worst case scenario. Bracket breaking off the rear end. It could have caused just a major catastrophe. But now we got it all fixed. Well, Bill, we got to get your confidence back. That trust, right? So what better way to do that? Let's go for a cruise.
Let's do it.
You know, it's really satisfying to get the T-Bucket back out on the road safely. And, you know, it's become a tradition. Shane.
Since you're new guy at the shop, this is your christening right here. It's kind of leaning over one side, so I'm thinking we're going to go up on this side a little bit. Keep on going. You got to make a bird perch, man. Think about the birds. Last piece, man.
All right.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Nice. Welcome to the team, man.
Appreciate it, man. I'm glad to be a part of it, dude. We smoothed the inside of the bed out with sheet metal, and we're putting in the new wheel tubs on the 85 C10.
There we go. We got 2 big old holes cut out for some big old wheel tubs for some big old wheels. What we're doing is making a shim so we could clamp the wheel tub to this bar and it'll be perfectly straight from side to side. Got these big old tubs in now. Now we could cap on the inside, get it all welded out.
Use a scribe that does a fine line. That's going to carry this radius 100%. So we cut it clean. We'll put it up here, we'll butt it. It gives a nice clean weld and it's a nice fitment. Now we have the bed sides, the bed floor, the wheel tubs, the tub fillers. Everything's tacked into place. It looks really good and it's time for a whole lot of welding.
14 3/4, 2 tons. John and Brian are making some killer sub boxes and kick panels.
So got the 85 square body C10 ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the subwoofer enclosure. With that, I'm gonna try to keep it as small as possible. We're gonna make 2 enclosures, tuck them into the corners.
Got my template made for my kick panels. Just transfer this into some 1/4 inch, get my first base for my kick panel mounted up. Kick panel is down by where your foot is, where the emergency brake goes. These are big blank areas in this 85 Chevy, so we need to cover them up with something cool.
Next thing I gotta do is take my 3/4 inch MDF that I'm using for the baffle, and I'm gonna kerf it. That way I can get it to make that nice curve around the front of the box. Indy wood. Get that nailed in and we'll get the hole cut.
So these little chunks, so that I can get it to roll with the curvature of this kick panel here. And we'll trim it all down, shape it, body work it all in.
So we got the holes cut out in the box. Kerf looks beautiful. All we gotta do now is close up the wedge on the top. We'll be ready to get it molded in and wrap it and send it out the door.
Mario, the owner of the C10, wants his diamond logo somewhere in the bed of this truck. So John's gonna head home and knock it out.
Just getting off of work, making my ride home, but the day ain't over yet. Got me a little bit of homework. Working in the type of business like I'm in, we don't have 9 to 5s. We have 9 to whenevers. I got a CNC at home that I love messing with and try to knock this out for the guys. So welcome to the beginnings of my man cave. Unfinished project. As you can see, I'm so busy with other projects that I can't finish my personal project. And over here, we got this big old 5x10 CNC machine. It's actually like a robotic router. I can do me a file on my computer, transfer it over to the computer. So this is our diamond. See all the facets. Now that we got this all drawn up, what we're gonna do is run this on a piece of cheap MDF that's a quarter of the price of what the acrylic is. Because if it ain't right, we just wasted a couple $100 of material. Kind of hard to see all the facets in it, but they're there. So now we got a really good test item. Now I feel confident to cut the acrylic. 3, 2, 1. Ready, folks? Man, it's still heavy. Here we are with our finished product. It looks nice. This is gonna look really good in the bed of that C10.
We're done with the metalwork on the bed, so we're gonna move it over to body and paint. Everything's being painted in Mario's company color, orange.
Catch some attention with this color right here.
We went with the light tan color powder coat on the frame to contrast all that orange and match the interior perfectly. Get all the components done. This thing should be a roller pretty quickly. We officially got a rolling chassis. We're about to make it roll. Set it on the ground, get that engine on. One thing I've learned many years ago, no matter how long you work on a build, like the months and months on this 85 C10, the last little bit is always the hardest. But it also can be the most satisfying when it all comes together. I know Mario's gonna love this truck as soon as he sees it.
Now, when a lot of people say they work on cars, this is working on cars. I work to work on cars. I come home to work on cars. Hell, when I sleep, I'm probably still working on cars. My hands are probably still moving, turning wrenches. Up there we got a customer's car. That's a full total build from the ground up. Starting with the frame, suspension, engine swap, fully painted, full interior, everything brand new. Over there I got my other car, my 95 Cadillac Fleetwood. That used to be really, really nice until I had a little accident with it. This was one of my first candy paint jobs with all the graphics and metal flake and pinstripe and all that stuff that I personally done. You can see the interior panel there that holds all the speakers. That paint job just flows all the way into the car. It's a good friend of mine. We're installing a vintage air AC in it, power steering upgrade, brake upgrade, and while we're at it, we're putting a little bit of music in it for them. What can I say?
We put a lot of energy into Mario's truck. Huge transformation. There's no way he thinks this is the same truck. This has to be beyond any dream he's ever had of a custom truck. And now it's time for him to finally see it. Mario, what's happening?
How are you?
How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
Man, I know it's been a while, huh?
Yeah.
Man, Mario, a while back I came out to your place and, checked out your project that you wanted to get started on, the old square body truck. It definitely wasn't a showstopper by any means. Right? But, we've been working on it for quite some time, and I think you're going to be very, very, very pleasantly surprised to see this truck, to see how far it's come. But, man, you ready to check it out?
I'm ready.
Let's go check it out.
All right, let's go. Ooh, it's beautiful. Man, when that door opens, wow, it's a beautiful truck. I can't believe that truck came out so nice.
No more blue, huh?
No more blue, orange.
Mario wanted his truck to match the rest of his fleet. We went with a custom mix orange with a little bit of yellow pearl. It looks perfect. This brings me way, way back to my first truck, and that's just something that I just love. Once you sit it down on the ground like that, it just makes people want to go over there and check it out, right?
Yeah.
You can't stop looking at it. And no matter where you look, every inch of this thing is customized. On the square body, it's all about that wheel size and the stance and just the overall proportion. So the front, you got to have those 24x9s, and the rear, you got to have those 24x15s. Let's check out the interior.
Man, whoa, this is nice.
Gone is the old blue, right?
No more blue.
Can't have that. You know, the color's been brought into the inside also with that tan saddle interior. We've replaced every single part and piece in here. I mean, they've custom built the enclosures for the kick panels and the sub enclosure. It just looks, you know, not only custom, it's classy as well.
Yeah, I love the seats. I love the steering. I love the,
check this out.
Oh, man, this is beautiful, man.
No more 305.
No more 305. This is nice, man.
This is a 6.2 LS. This thing has way, way more power than this truck needs.
Oh, my God, this is nice.
You see, it's a brand new chassis front to back. I mean, you can look down in the engine compartment and see all the custom parts and pieces that have been built, you know, one-off for this truck.
The way you guys do the chassis and everything, they match everything, man.
Right? The front end's all one piece now. And the firewall's all been color matched, smoothed out, bead rolled. It's a cool, cool truck. I got one more little surprise for you. It's in the back. I know you're gonna like this.
Whoa, that's beautiful, man.
Right? We had to incorporate your logo too. So there's no doubt whose truck this is. You know, even in the bed itself with John, Tim in the bed, just smoothing everything out, building the big wheel tubs, building the big notch cover. To get a truck this low, this is what you have to have. The wheels and tires take up that much space in the bed. It takes a whole team, a whole shop to build something like this. And that's something we're all proud of.
When I saw that diamond, oh my God, the whole truck, I mean,
Man, don't be taking this truck to the job site, man. I know that's what you wanted, man, but don't be taking this.
I want, man. I'm not going to put any concrete on it.
We're going to be the first ones to have a ProCharge 2021 Escalade.
Most people want to keep it as quiet as they can. Not Bill. Talk about the sound of the Escalade.
So this is a 46 Ford Coupe.
Recover the seat, little dash pad, be good. When I say everything, this is everything. I want to drop it all the way on the ground. The air suspension on it, late model 5.0 in this thing. It's a total surprise for Ryan's dad.
Total surprise.
She looks really pretty.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
My old friend Ryan called me. He said he got a new project for us to do it. His family owns a company that builds and sells records. In fact, his dad started the business back in the 70s. Ryan, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming out, Bill.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Got this project for you here.
These the ones you're talking about?
We're going to start with this one here.
What year is this thing?
So this is a 46 Ford Coupe, and my dad bought it back in 86 when he turned 40. Tore it apart about 15 years ago, and here we sit. Same spot.
Oh, man. You know, I've heard this story a million times. A shop takes in the car, tears it apart, there it sits for years, and they never finish it.
I need somebody to put it back together.
Yeah?
Something special.
How old's your dad now?
74.
Does he know about this?
Knows nothing about this project. He does so much for everybody else in the community.
Yeah,
gives his shirt off his back. Doesn't do anything for himself, so it's time to give back.
Man, that's awesome.
So,
I'm in on it. You know, I've never had one of these in the shop. It's going to be a first for us, but man, I've always admired these. You know, just looking at this car, it's going to be a cool car, but to have somebody, you know, think of you the way Ryan's thinking of his dad, that's a cool gift.
Looking for something that he can drive to the show, not only just a trailer queen, that he can get down on the highway and do 80, cold AC.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. We'll make it something he can burn the tire lot of trophies.
That sounds good. This car used to be called Blue Thunder when he got it. You know how they used to nickname their cars?
Oh, yeah?
So we need to do something with that.
So it's got to be blue.
Yes, sir. Got to be blue. We're looking for a dark metallic blue that pops blue when the sun hits it. Looks a little darker at night.
This is a cool, iconic body style, but this thing's got to sit right. So we're going to start out by building air suspension on this thing to get it really, really low to the ground with the right wheels and tires and get that stance perfect. Man, what you got under the hood of this? Is there?
Let me just show you.
Oh man, we can't have nothing in here like this, man.
Got an old 350 Chevy in it, so that's wrong right off the bat.
I mean, that's definitely going to come out and just start fresh with the new 5.0 in this thing.
Ooh.
Man, when he pushes on the gas pedal, man, he's going to be happy.
That's what we need. You know, I can't wait for my father to have that smile on his face that he has for everybody else, but this time for himself.
Let's see what the interior looks like in it. Should I say lack thereof? Oh, yeah. Recover the seat, little dash pad, be good. No, man, there's nothing in here we can use.
You know, Bill, I know you got the outside all figured out and stuff. Then inside, take it to the next level.
Just taking it to the next level would be very hard on this interior. I want your old man to get this thing back, open the door, and sit down in here and just feel like he's 40 again. Because he might have a heart attack on this one.
But this will stop him taking those little blue pills, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, you won't need them no more after this, right?
We snuck you in while he's out at the races. Let me get it over to your place, and then we'll go from there. Sounds
Get
great.
Back rolling. I love that Ryan's giving something back to his dad. You know, not just anything, a custom 46 Ford. It's just that little extra that's going to make this cool old car even more badass. Most people see a car like this and go, man, look at that cool old car. But for me, when I see an old car like this, all I can think about is how many hours it's going to take to make this thing cool. You know, there's a lot of differences in customizing a new car versus an old car. A new car, you don't have to worry about lining up body panels. You don't have to worry about, you know, the hood latching correctly. I mean, you put wheels and tires, do your thing on it, slam the door, go about your business. So, you know, an old car, just the opposite. You have to address every single part on a car. There's going to be hours just getting the hinges lined up. There's going to be hours getting the window regulators working properly. There's going to be hours of just getting the window felt in. I mean, nobody ever sees you do this thing. There's only one thing to do. Quit talking about it and get to it.
Whoa! Has this thing always been back here?
You don't get out of the office much, do you?
No.
It's a total surprise for Ryan's dad.
It's a hell of a surprise.
Right? You know, I want to get this thing in the shop and blow it totally apart. We got to make this thing really low. I want to do air suspension on it. I want to put 20s on the front, 22s on the back, maybe a 22s on the front. I want to just kind of see how it looks. Once it's up on the lid, we'll see if there's anything underneath we can salvage.
Find out what's underneath all this.
Yeah, I'm really nervous, man. This thing, you can tell the body work's been done a long time ago, and there's a lot of it on here, so it's going to take a lot of work.
This thing's already got Blue Thunder on the back. Are you staying with blue on this?
It'd be sacrilegious to change that, right? You know, we got to bring old Blue Thunder into the 21st century. You know, this engine definitely ain't gonna cut it. It's got a Chevy engine now. You don't want that. We're on a late model 5.0, 6-speed transmission, new wiring harness, pedal, column, radiator hoses. When I say everything, this is everything.
So for the interior, looks pretty complete. It's got an awesome seat in there.
I'm gonna take this out. But everything other than that, you know, there's nothing there. So new bucket seats, bench seat in the back, of course, stereo equipment. Get with John, see what kind of equipment we need. Let's get it ordered, get the carpet, get the headliner, get the window felt, window regulators, you know, one-piece side glass.
We're building the whole car, everything ground up, 100%.
Man, that's exactly what we're gonna do. You know, this thing's gonna require everybody in the shop. There's nothing on here that we're not gonna handle.
There's a whole process after process on this. Let's call it Blue Process.
Well, let's get to the first process, getting this thing in, and get to it.
Got it. Let's do it.
This car's been sitting around rusting for who knows how long. So we'll start by getting up on the lift just to see how long our to-do list is. Ooh, look at that. Had intentions of just doing suspension on this, but you know, after looking at this frame, it's got to go. Our transmission is going to be a lot bigger. It's a big 6-speed transmission, so it's way bigger. So we'd have to cut all this out to make room. The easiest thing to do is just get rid of this old frame and just go over to the, just unbolt the body, get it off the blast. last 10 will get the body shop guys busy for a while. Me and Timmy, we thought we were just going to be able to salvage this.
That's like demoing a whole house to build a new one, but leaving the cracked slab. Want a good foundation to start with. If not, it's just going to be problems down the road. Now we have the body separated from the chassis. We're going to roll the chassis out. Fasten the body to a body cart. We'll send this off to get media blasted. And we'll see how it looks when it comes back from media blast.
You know, I can really appreciate a surprise like Ryan's going to do for his dad with this coupe. I surprised my wife Jennifer by customizing her cars a few times. I might have gone a little bit too big for her taste, but she's got a new truck, and I'm ready to try one more time.
Did you steal the wife's car?
Yeah. You know, I want to surprise her. You know, I want to do a couple things to it. You know, she calls it Betty, so I want to get Betty hooked up.
So is this going to be a little surprise or one of your SEMA take her car or taking a SEMA 2-week surprises?
And then I was like, oh, I'll just take it to the shop and fix a little dent on the back. And 2 weeks later, it was in Vegas at the SEMA show, totally repainted, full interior stereo. She wasn't too happy. Couldn't haul groceries in the back anymore, but I think we got to get it down on the ground.
I knew that. I knew it for you to say. I knew exactly what you were going to say.
I mean, look at that fender well gap there. Man, that's way, way, way too big, right? We'll drop it down probably about 6 inches. You know, just a little bit, about 6 inches. You know, fill that up with a nice big wheel and tire. And, you know, we just can't have a 22, 24. We got to have a big wheel and tire, right?
Something to separate it from the rest, but still make it drivable. They didn't even have a kit to lower this?
Man, that's what we do. So we got an empty rack. We'll just pull it in, pull the wheels off, see what happens. I mean, we might even get it on there and just decide just to put air suspension on it and get it down really, really low.
That's the bill, I know. I don't know of a better way to say I love you and thank you than dropping her new Escalade to the ground, put some big wheels on it, and making her stand out.
That's an extensive way, right?
Yeah.
You know, good-looking stance with the right wheel and tire, it just gives it that attitude, that aggressive classiness. Set her apart from, you know, all the other soccer moms, and feel special the whole time she's driving. You know, it won't be another one like it. You know, she works hard every day, pretty much takes care of the kids, because we always work late, getting home late. We want to get her hooked up.
It definitely takes a lot to put up with what we do. It's a good call.
Yeah, she's been needing a little surprise lately.
She married you, she has to like surprises.
So what are we doing to Mom's truck? Yeah, we're going to lift it really high. Big 44s on it. You know, make it real easy for her to get in and out of.
Oh, yeah.
She'll love it. No, you know, I want to give her something that's cool, right? You know, back since the beginning of Extensive, I've always kind of experimented with my wife Jennifer's cars.
So is this going to be like Mom's last car? The last surprise?
No. You know, I don't know what we're going to do yet. See how difficult this is. This is all new platform underneath. I heard it's independent rear suspension now, so we're about to find out. With her 2021 Escalade, I want it to be custom and cool. But, you know, maybe just a little more understated than I have in the past. You know, me and Jennifer have been together since before the beginning of Extensive Metalworks, so she's been around the car game just as long as I have. You know, as soon as Jennifer gets this back, she sees all the time and effort we put into it, how cool it looks. That's definitely going to put a smile on her face. You know, on the 2021 Escalade, it's been totally redesigned. This is 100% brand new, top to bottom, and it's unfamiliar territory for us. It's crazy how much cars have come in the last 5 years, 10 years, but, you know, that's part of it. This is definitely a learning experience, and, you know, you grow with the technology in a car, advancing with it every year. We want to stay up with the latest and greatest and be ahead of the curve. What'd you figure out? Just lowering springs? We got to change that out. You know, we'll put new coils on it so it just drops it down, gets rid of that big fender well gap, you know, with a nice wheel and tire. It's going to fill all that up and keep it all black too. Yeah, that's going to set the whole aggressive tone to it, right? Speaking of tone, muffler, you got to change that tone too. It's a 6.2 in this, and you can't really tell it any different from a Tahoe that's got a 5.3 in it. So those restrictors and opens it up a little bit. You got to make it look good, got to make it sound good, and you got to make it run good. We need the Pro Charger.
Y'all are definitely two peas in a pod. Both of y'all want to go fast.
You know, there's nothing available for this. It's so new, so Justin will have to build whatever it needs in these little steps. Can't have the pontoon look, right? We got to get rid of those. Put the retractable steps on so it looks nice, clean, streamlined, lower the ground.
Man, I'm not going to lie. When you first told me you're going to surprise her, I was a little nervous myself because I've been a couple of these surprises and they go off the charts sometimes.
Sometimes. You know, most of the time I would really go for the full air suspension, lay it on the ground. But, you know, I want to make something that's perfect for her. So I have Tim and Dave changing out the springs.
First thing we're going to do the Escalade is get the stance right. We're going to take the struts out, put new springs on this thing, and we put it back together. It's going to lower the vehicle but still give you the same ride. So this basically holds the truck up in the air, and the shock dampens it. So when you hit a bump, it doesn't keep bouncing. By getting a new coil spring that's a little bit lower, it's going to lower this down to say right about here somewhere. It should be about 1.5 to 2 inches lower.
What we're going to be doing is if you don't have this specialty tool, you should probably not try and do this at all. It's pretty dangerous, you know, to be messing with something that's compressed and has a lot of pressure in it. We'll be able to loosen this nut up here and remove the shock. So the only thing we're going to be changing out is the spring to lower the ride height. We will reuse this and the boot. The only thing aftermarket should be just the spring.
Ooh, lowering springs for you, sir. You should bring it down a little bit, tighten up that wheel gap, make it sit right.
Now we got to work on it.
Yeah, you do.
Later, buddy. Later, boys. Want to make it a little more sporty, bring it down just a little bit, but not enough that every time she goes over something, she's got to hit a bump or she's got to worry about rubbing it off. Now we have all the springs mounted. We're going to bolt them on the truck. One step closer.
And it's in bad a shape as we thought. Before the body shop guys get their hands full with the body, the owner wants us to get it all the way on the ground with a full custom air suspension. You know, it's part of the surprise for his dad. You know, it's exciting to get a new project in, a new frame started, and just to build somebody's dreams. Everything to start starts with the frame. Let's see what we got here. 32. It's on the money. You know, it brings you back to being a little kid and building that first little model. I mean, that's basically what we do every day. Get to bring back our childhood memories of building all that cool stuff, but now we get to do it for real. We've got our measurements here, 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 and that'll do it. So I got all the measurements I need. I'm going to transfer them right on a drawing that we have on the table. You can see actually in real time how the frame's going to look. So there's no mistakes on mismeasuring. We're going to go right off our templates, transfer them right to the saw, start chopping, start putting together. Got it, man. That's all laid out.
You know what the thing looks like? 46 Ford frame. Rule of thumb here is cut everything in twos, two sides of the frame. So we're gonna make two cuts same time, so they're exactly the same. I guess the difference between building a custom frame and an OEM frame would be you could put things in different places for clearance issues, and definitely cool factors, you know, to make things different because of the tools. I got all the pieces cut and beveled, now it's time to go ahead and start assembling this frame.
They're looking good, nice, square, level. This thing is going to be right. So now we're off to mocking up the suspension. You know, on the 46 Ford, we're going to build a 2-link suspension with air. You know, I prefer a 2-link suspension on a vehicle like this, just because you can, on this, we're shooting for about 11 inches of lift, so you get a lot of lift out of it with a really nice ride quality. And the other advantage of the 2-link is with it bolted super tight with the U-bolts, it doesn't allow it to sway like a 4-link suspension and have to compensate with sway bars. That's why we're going with a 2-link on this versus a 4-link or other types of suspension.
Just trying to make sure the front of the 2 links are even and equal, the same height. So I'm putting my flat bar right here, basically as a leg. So I'm going to go ahead and clamp it, and I'll be able to manipulate this height-wise. I need 9 7/8 on this side, so I'll be able to adjust this up to 9 7/8 on this side. It's a lot of measuring, a lot of looking across everything, make sure everything's parallel, everything's even. But taking all this time to do all that, I'll pay off in the end because everything will be perfect. Everything's going to be straight and true. That's exactly what we're looking for.
As big as a frame build is, the interior in the coupe is non-existent. So John's starting from less than 0.
Yes, this car has absolutely no interior in it. I think when it came in, it had a folding chair maybe in it. That's actually kind of the fun of this. It is, with it being a blank canvas, there's nothing there that dictates what it has gone, so we get to pick where everything's at and place things where we want it and do our own design in it. I've got a template for my kick panel, a template for the door panel, and for the rear quarter panel. Everything's marked off where they line up together in the car so that everything has the same height that I need, so I can sketch this out to get all my patterns laid out so that everything will fit. Bill's thought and his idea is he wants Dad to get in his car and sit down and feel like he's still in his old hot rod. He doesn't want anything too new and too outlandish in this. He wants nice, clean, subtle lines in this. We want to get this thing just a nice, clean, classy feel so when he sits in it, he can feel like he's back in the old days. It's kind of one of those great things working around here. A lot of times we're just given free will to do whatever we want, so to be able to sit down and think it out and dream up something just different than everybody else's is really what makes this job so much fun. All the way from the beginning aspect, all the way to the headaches that you have, all the way to the end of it until it's finished. Every bit of it makes it fun because you get to design everything from your own ideas and your own perspectives. Erase, delete. Good thing about these sketches, it's all fluid, so it's constantly changing, so you're never stuck to one thing if you got an eraser. And that's going to be a tall ridge here. So this is our insert fabric that we're going to use just for our accent color. That's going to be going here in our doors and also here. Plus we'll have it worked into the seats, so it's just that little extra pop just so it's not all the same fabric in the whole car. So now it's time to bring Blue Thunder back to life.
We got the stance on my wife's 21 Escalade just right. Now I want to give it a better overall tone.
Bill wants to get rid of this stock muffler. It works from the factory. Most people want to keep it as quiet as they can. Not Bill. It doesn't have the rumble he's looking for. The record. You know, this new muffler flows a lot better than the factory does. You get a little throatier sound. Jennifer's going to love it. So what school teacher wouldn't love pulling up your parking lot a hot rod sound and Escalade? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and tack this first one. That way I can make sure it's square with the frame this way. And then I'll know, not only do I need this to go over, I also need it to come down. So it's got to be like a 45 down and 45 over to one direction. basically all I'm doing right now is trying to figure out a little jig so I know how to bend it. So I don't have to make 52 trips to the truck and back. I can just make me a little deal here. So I measure from this line down is 2 inches. So if I take 2 inches out of this right here, it should give me exactly what I need. According to the jig, this should flow exactly where I need it. Give me an exact angle this way and this way. When it fits good, now we do is weld it up. Bill's wife's got a brand new sports car sounding Escalade.
My wife's a little like me. She likes to give her vehicles a little extra horsepower. So I asked Justin to add a Pro Charger. Because this truck is so new, he's going to have to figure out the whole setup.
It's pretty neat that we're going to be the first ones to have a Pro Charge 2021 Escalade. Like, nobody's worked on one of these. Like, they don't make a kit out for it yet, so we're going to come up with we should see anywhere between 150 to 200 extra rear wheel horsepower on this thing once we get it tuned. We're going to try to squeeze the intercooler through here without removing the grill. So this one here is their what you would call like a stage 2 intercooler. So if you look at the thickness of the core, it's about a 1/2 inch wider than the one that would come in your base model kit. This one here is going to provide a lot better cooling for the extra air we're about to shove in this motor. We're running into clearance issues, these air louvers right here. So since it's such a large intercooler and such a tight space, to be on the safe side, instead of trying to force it in there, we're going to go ahead and remove the bumper and remove the support so that we can just drop it right into place. With this being a 2021, it's the first time pulling one of these bumpers off, so it can be a little time consuming. You know, you don't want to get in a hurry. You want to make sure that, you know, you get all the hardware out. You know, it's easy to, you know, miss a bolt here and there. And the last thing you want to do is piss off Bill's wife. So we need to make sure that we take our time and do it right the first time. There we go.
Just to fit the brackets on the supercharger. It's taking a bit more work, but it'll all be worth it in the end.
So that's what happens when you're dealing with a new vehicle. Something, you know, seems as simple as taking a bumper off can eat up most of your time. So this here is our supercharger. It's the P1X, their high output version. So now that we have the blower installed, all we gotta do is connect from our blower to our intercooler, from our intercooler to our throttle body. So the reason we use the rubber couplers instead of everything hardline is because you have vibrations of the motor, and whenever it torques over, it'll want to move. So you need to have movement. So that's why we're going with all these rubber couplers. So right now we're putting the belt on. We're trying to adjust the tensioner to make sure that we have the most amount of tension, but also where the tensioner is within range, because you don't want it maxed out where it's too tight, where the tensioner is not doing its job, and at the same time you don't want it too loose. So we're just fine tuning it right now to make sure we have it set right. The next step is to get our fan shroud back in. Once our fan shroud goes back in, then we get to start doing some of the custom piping and getting this thing wrapped up.
We have the rear suspension on the coupe all mocked up. Now we can make the custom bag mounts.
Let's block it back up. Even something just as simple as a gusset for the upper bag mount. I mean, somebody just looking at it just looks like a piece of pipe, but you got to take into consideration where the shock's going to be, where the differential's going to be, where the air fitting's going to be. You want to make sure it's right. You want to take your time to notch it right, cope it right, sand it right, and attach it right. Done daily.
On this particular chassis, we're going to use a diagonal link, which mounts a fixed point of the frame over to the moving part of the suspension itself, and it keeps everything 100% true all the way up, all the way down. There's no deflection of that whatsoever. We're able to build that into this suspension because there's nothing in the way. A lot of the times there'll be a gas tank in the way or exhaust in the way, or a lot of things could be in the way once you're building a suspension around something that's already there. The advantage of this is it's going to stay nice, true, straight up and down, and perfect. Back in 46, these coupes didn't have much of a speaker system, so John's going to bring the audio into this century, but he's also going to keep it with this classic look.
It didn't have subwoofers in 46, so what we're going to do is actually take and disguise that subwoofer. So basically, when you pop the trunk and look in, all you'll see sitting there is a suitcase and think it's a piece of luggage. You'll never even know that it's a subwoofer. For the corners of the suitcase, I want them to be rounded, so in order to do that, I'm going to take the PVC and cut it into quarters. That way I can use those as the corners of the box and then just glass them from the inside. It's kind of like making oatmeal. Put a little water in your bowl, put a little bit of oatmeal in there, stir it up. You don't want your oatmeal too lumpy. Martha Stewart, eat your heart out. All we're doing with this is just reinforcing our PVC corners. So the first step we're going to take to make this thing look like a suitcase, we're going to use a scoop bit. We're going to run around the outside edge of the top, a little bit on the bottom, nice rounded over corner. We can do the body work. Take this fiberglass filler here, hit my outside corners, get them smoothed in. Just got to give these corners a little bit of love, get it good, round and smooth. Next thing we'll do, cut some lines in this, put some grooves in it. Don't mess it up. Really got to take our time to make sure we don't screw this up. And it could turn into a whole remake, and ain't nobody got time for that. I have confidence in myself. Oh God, I moved it. We'll also have to add a groove to the top edge and the bottom edge for all the material to roll into. So we're just going to take and work our way around the box, rolling it, flipping it to get our groove in it. All right, now that we got all the grooves cut in it, this thing's really starting to look like a suitcase. So the next thing I gotta do, just sit down, do a little bit of detail sanding on it. This thing will be ready to wrap.
Custom frame and suspension for the 46 Ford on the table. Now it's time to get it up underneath the body. Thunder's coming along. It's really starting to take shape. We got all the old yuckiness out. So from the firewall back, 100% true square straight. But I found the easiest way to build chassis like this is locating the front cross member. Once that's located, you know the height you want, that locates our wheelbase.
Well, 141 3/4 or 16 too far.
Hammer's right there.
That's it.
So we have this dead center of the fender wells. Now that we have our front end on, we know where that center is. Next step is just connecting the cross member all the way down the frame. This car is going to run unbelievable, ride really good, and really low. It's at the perfect stage to really start creating. You know, normally we know exactly what we need to install the Pro Charger, but with the 21 Escalade being so new, Justin has to reinvent the entire wheel on this one.
So with the supercharger, we're going to have pressure inside the pipe, and the last thing we want to do is we're putting a bead roll on the end of the pipe so that the silicone coupler, whenever we clamp it, doesn't want to slide off under boost. This is the flange for the blow-off valve. Typically, it would tie back into the inlet pipe to the supercharger. But what we're going to do is we're going to vent it to the atmosphere so we got that cool swishing sound. Now we got our 3.5-inch aluminum prep. We got our hole drill for our mass airflow sensor flange. The mass air and the O2 sensors work together, so if we dump off any air to the atmosphere, throw off our O2 sensors and the computer won't read right. So now that we have our blow-up valve flange on, our mass air flange on, and our extension piece that goes into our coupler, now we can go install it on the vehicle. We can go ahead and pre-install our new blow-up valve. They actually sound better on supercharged cars, because on a turbo car, they only open up under like acceleration. On a supercharged car, it's the opposite. It's open all the time until you give it gas, and then it'll close. And that's how you kind of hear more of that swishing sound. So now that we got the flange welded on, we got the 2 screws to hold in our sensor into our piping, just like we wanted. We can install our charge pipe and put some clamps on. And Life's definitely gonna have the fastest SUV in the faculty parking lot now.
The best days at work are always with a dog. If I do set up a table for me, and this guy happens to use it for a bed, I'll put my stuff on the floor. You should just lay there and do nothing. I gotta go work. Look at this 2021 Escalade in the shop. It's already a good looking truck. It was good looking off the factory floor. But Bill being Bill, it always needs something. These steps just aren't gonna cut it. So he wants a retractable step. When you open the door, it folds down. When you shut the door, this will tuck back up, fold away, and you'll never see the step at all. It's gonna make it look sleek, and it gives it a custom touch. First step we're gonna do, just unbolt the old step, take it completely off, get it out of the way, and then we'll start with the new one. This motor here will go to a door pan. When the door opens, it lets us know this needs to come down. When the door shuts, it retracts this back up. See how hands-on my helper is? That's a good helper right there. The new plastics have a little indentation right here, so when this folds up, it tucks right in tight and it makes it disappear. Now we have the plastics on there that allow the step to go up, and it'll fold right with the new plastic. It looks better, it functions better, and it's easier for little ones or old ones to get in and out.
You know, I'd be lying if I wasn't a little nervous to see what Jennifer thinks. But I think this time, we nailed it. You know, her Escalade's still classy, but custom, just the way she likes it. You know, well, I hope. As you know, I got a long history of customizing cars, and something you might not know, I have a long history of customizing my wife's cars too. The thing I got her was a Cadillac SRX. Took it to the Las Vegas SEMA show and killed it. The bad part about it was getting it home, but it had so many speakers, there was no place to put the groceries, so she hated it. Every time I cut into one of my wife's cars, I'll always have the best intentions. I always want riding around in. You know, that's the feeling I get when I drive around in a cool car. I want her to have that same feeling. And my wife driving a totally bone stock car, it hurts. It hurts seeing that. It's kind of like, you know, if I was a roofer, my roof was leaking, that's something you just can't have. You know, I've been known to maybe go a little overboard here and there, but you know, one of these days I'm gonna come up with that perfect combination for her that she's just gonna totally love. Thank you for lunch.
No problem.
Thank you. Hey, I want to tell you something. Remember, you know, I took the Cadillac in, had a recall, and I took it from you. It didn't really have a recall. I want to surprise you with something special. So I took Betty and I've done a couple things to her to make her stand out.
Like?
Well, you're about to see. You ready? You excited?
No.
Timmy's gonna bring it around right now.
This is not the first time that Bill's taken one of my cars. We've had some cars where he has taken them and he's done things to them and they have not turned out well. That's a little stressful for me. Okay, so not so bad. I'm very proud. I appreciate you listening. It looks awesome.
Surprise!
Yeah, no, beautiful.
Are you pleasantly surprised?
I'm pleasantly surprised. Thank you. Pleasantly surprised. She looks beautiful.
So I did good?
So far. I don't know. There might be more. I don't know. From what I can see right here, yes.
There's a little more.
She rides the same.
Better. You know, the first thing you notice when coming down the road, Betty just looked way too tall. So what we had to do is get it in the shop, and we changed out the springs. Took it all apart, took the coil springs out and replaced it with the shorter spring to give it that low stance, to get rid of that fender well gap. And, I mean, you got it all blacked out already. You had to have the black wheels.
Of course. Now, if I had to pick wheels, that would be something that I would pick. They're very clean, very pretty, very nice.
Yeah. And it's still going to retain that factory Cadillac ride. Classy.
Oh, the runners. Oh, I knew you were going to do that. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful.
Can't have that old pontoon look, just to give it that clean, streamlined look.
I'm going to cry.
After 28 years together, every once in a while you got to show your appreciation, right? And you show your appreciation in giving your wife something really cool to drive.
You did good. You did good. I will never say it again.
I was surprised as you were when Bill said, nope, we're going to go just a couple miles on this one.
They haven't always turned out as well.
Let's check out under the hood. I got a little surprise under there for you.
Okay. Oh, wow.
They don't make a kit for this. So Justin adapted everything and made the whole ProCharger work on this.
So all this is custom.
Yep. Every bit. It runs real good.
It's very nice.
You're about 620 horsepower now. So Betty is going to get it. You're definitely going to make up some time and have plenty of extra leisure time now.
Cool.
I knew you were going to love it.
Yep, it's awesome. It sounded pretty.
Yeah, it sounds good. It had a little whistle to it. You needed that. Just way too quiet from the factory. I mean, looking at it, it's got to have a little deeper tone to the exhaust, so you get that whole attitude. When you roll up...
Oh, she's definitely going to draw some attention.
Most definitely.
It's nice.
I'm glad you like it. I think we did good. If she was making this car herself, I think we gave her exactly what she...
This is really nice. You did a great job, and I'm very flattered. And all the other teachers are going to be really jealous. Beautiful.
Just like you.
Oh, my gosh.
Is a 2017 F-150 pull-out with this engine. The 5.0 Coyote is a great platform for making a lot of power. We're going to change a couple things. We're going to change intake, put headers on it, and with the tune and E85, it should make about an extra 100 rear-wheel horsepower. So this thing's going to make plenty of power for old Coop. How do you start stretching every day, all day? On the really big jobs like the 46 Coupe, you just know it's going to be a marathon. Ow.
So we're stripping down the engine, taking all the old stuff off, stuff we're not going to use.
Every step you take, there's 100 more to go. We like to recycle. Just like going to pick up old dogs, we get old motors. We got a good steering. Next step's finishing up the front suspension. Keep going on the body work and make that interior all from scratch. But man, once Ryan's dad sees the old Blue Thunder, this is Axel's thinking Hellcat engine. Oh man, we're gonna split this truck down the middle, not only front to back, but side to side also. Cut it in fours.
I'm gonna have to put all that structure back in.
This is gonna handle like a race car. Parts of this is gonna be wider than this truck. This 1998 AMG G-Wagon.
We got it all the way here from Russia.
They definitely missed the mark on this one.
Just start fresh.
Grab a grinder and a welder and get after it.
This is like Christmas.
The seats actually appear to be floating.
That's cool.
I want to put Texas on the map.
Oh, man, I got a brain freeze.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, seeing that Willys pull in the parking lot, that thing is super clean. You know, not too many projects roll in the shop that look this good. What's up, fellas?
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, Willys, huh?
60 Willys, yeah.
Nice.
First Jeep.
You know, the Willys Jeep pickup looks more like a standard Jeep design, but with a longer wheelbase and bed. There was only a couple 100,000 of these ever made. Where'd you find this thing? Did you build it yourself? Or?
No. Come from the northern North Dakota.
That's a little drive for you, huh?
Yeah,
about 1,200 miles. You want us to do something to this thing? It looks perfect.
It's been always dream when I've retired to have a custom vehicle, something I can show for my hard work.
You're in the right spot.
There you go. When I come back to get the truck, I'm going to take a few weeks off. I'm going to show it at car shows, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to polish that baby.
Yeah, he'll probably polish it so much they'll rub the clear coat off. It's crazy.
You couldn't find a nicer one to tear up?
I'm sorry.
Man, there's going to be some Willys guys just, ooh.
That's all right.
We're both going to be getting some hate mail on this one.
Yeah, when you're done, though, they'll want one.
Yeah.
So what's your overall dream for this thing?
This thing looks like a Matchbox car. I want it to look like a powerful bulldog, a little wider in stance.
Stance is everything. You just want people to get out of your way. You just want this thing to look mean just sitting there. You know, something like this, we can take this car and cut it all the way down the middle and give you some more room in the cab also, and just widen the whole body. And then let's give you some more leg room by cutting the cab again and making it longer too.
Now you're talking, Bill.
Yeah. Achieving something like that, it just isn't no small feat. You know, that requires a lot of hours and a lot of skilled labor.
So we're looking for.
Y'all can kick back and hang out and have a little bit of space in between you when you guys are cruising around. Right?
Yeah.
You know, not that it matters, but let's look under the hood, see what you got.
There she is, Bill. Straight 6.
Oh, man. Super Hurricane, huh?
Yeah.
What kind of horsepower this thing got?
105.
105. Yeah, that's definitely no Hurricane.
No, we need to pump those numbers up.
My lawnmower's got as much horsepower as I got.
What do you think about putting a Hellcat engine in this thing?
Great. Fantastic. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the horsepower.
We on the same page on that one,
We're on the same page, yeah.
Yeah,
Horsepower.
Let's check out the back of this thing. It's definitely 1960, fully custom. Nothing in here is going to work. Let's just rip out everything underneath this thing and inside this thing and just start 100% fresh.
What do you think about that,
Yeah,
man?
I think it's a great idea.
As far as the bed, we can definitely create a bed on this thing that looks more modern and fits the body of this thing. You know, I'm really getting excited about this. I mean, this is definitely going to be one of a kind.
That's what we want.
That's what we're looking for.
You know, he's been working his whole life, never had a custom car. He's retired now. He wants a custom. That's exactly what he's going to get.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
You guys ready to go make it official?
I'm ready to go make it official.
Let's do it. This 1960 Jeep Willys is really, really nice, in good shape, good running truck. But this isn't our first time taking a good-looking vehicle and chopping it all up. You know, sometimes we get people with crazy ideas, and this Willys is one of them. This thing could be in a museum. I know the Willys people are just going to cringe when they see us tearing this truck apart. Million challenges to this project. Because this guy wants this truck longer and wide front to back, but side to side also. That's just not cutting the cab up and making the cab bigger. Everywhere you look on it, every quarter inch on this vehicle right here is going to be touched, customized in some way. To the engine, to the axles, to the bed, tail lights, bumpers, everything is going to be modified on this. That's going to push everyone's skill to the max. A job doesn't come bigger than this right here, but it's here. We're going to take it on, and we're going to create something that nobody's seen before. We're going to create something just totally unique and something really, really cool and give the customer exactly what they want at the end of the day. fellas,
Look what's going on.
1960 Jeep Willys.
Why do we have this really good-looking truck?
What are we about to do to it?
We're about to have some fun. You know, we're all going to be tested on this one right here. The owner of this truck, he wants that bulldog look. He wants something low and just mean looking. Okay? We're going to split this truck down the middle. Oh, so we're not only going to do that, we're going to split it down the middle here too and make the cab wider. Cut it in fours.
We're going to quarter it.
Oh, man. It's going to look like a birthday cake all cut up after we're done with this. That's all. I mean, you're looking at off easy on this project. This is why we get up and go to work, right?
You're right. You are right.
Speaking of, let me get up.
Let's go do that.
Work. First things first, Tim and John are going to tear it down. We can't be sure what parts we may need till after the cutting. So we'll be saving as many of the parts and pieces we can for later.
Oh, check that out. Automatic hood prop.
That's why the engineers got paid big dollars in a day.
They get a whole $1.50 extra.
Just like any car in the 60s, hadn't been taken apart in a while, the bolts are probably rusted together.
Go ahead.
You know, we've been doing this long enough that the Jeep could look really nice on the outside. But as soon as we get tearing into this paint, it could be really torn up. Get all this taken out, put it all in a crate, send it to sandblast. So we just rolled a cart underneath it. We're gonna make some stands for the cart. You only knew how many cars and trucks have been on this cart. A lot. All right, now we got it on the cart. Now we can roll it back this way. We'll pull all the chrome off, pull all the windows out, pull everything out of the interior. You know, this is just one more fact how much simpler it was back in the day. Nowadays, if you took the dash out, you'd have 500 feet of wiring and sensors and all that stuff. This is as simple as it gets, but as you can see, 60 years later, it's still functioning and it still works. Now we have all the windows out, all the trim off. Now this thing's ready to get blasted. Next time we see it, it'll be fresh metal to metal. We can do all of our metal work without any body work, any body filler, any surprises.
The 1960s Willie Jeep pickup is back from blast. You definitely want the steel to be as good a shape as possible before you cut it. And it looks better than I hoped.
This thing's in really good shape, man. A little bit damaged, but that's nothing for the age of it. I'd like to look this good when I'm 60, but I look worse than that now.
When you even stay in 1,000 ways, it could go wrong. You know, there's only a few people I can trust with that level of metal work. Bob Grant is definitely at the top of that list.
Robert, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while.
How you doing? It's been way too long, man.
Way too long, man. So what you got planned for me?
The owner wants just that bulldog look when he's coming down the road at you.
Okay.
And that's what this isn't, right?
It's like your grandpa's old farm truck.
Right, exactly. What I want to do with this is just cut it down the middle and make it wider.
Yeah.
If we're going to do that, we might as well cut it down the back also and give him a little bit more foot room.
Damn.
Right?
Both ways?
Right.
Holy crap. That's a lot of work.
It's a little bit nothing for you, man. Bob Grant. If there's anybody I'm going to call in to do some badass metal work, it's
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
I've worked with him before and hung out with him at numerous car shows. Just an awesome dude. So what kind of measurements you got for me? Something
Man, you know, something like this, I'm thinking probably 8 inches in the back and maybe, 6 in the front, so it doesn't look so exaggerated.
Oh yeah, it don't look like you did it.
I think that's the true definition of custom is you know something's different, but you don't really know what it is.
We'll have it done in a day or two, huh?
Right. I got you all set up. I got,
Okay.
You ready? I'm ready.
Yep, I'll break some. Some reference points to run my tape lines because tape works really good. It makes nice straight lines if you stretch it, and it's easier than using a ruler on the whole damn thing. Every tape line we see here is going to be somewhere where we're doing a cut. You got to kind of eyeball it to get your lines nice and straight. But if we keep the line really straight, it'll be easy to build off of. This grill area, we're actually going to cut it out right here. Cut out this whole piece, and we're going to make a new one. Then we're going to stand back and look at it, put the headlight where it looks the best, side to side. And it won't look like we did any work to it, it'll just look normal.
What up, man? What's up, bro?
What up, buddy?
What up, fellas? Got you one from Moscow. That's a decent.
Crazy.
You know, getting a G-Wagon in the shop to work on is pretty cool, but getting a G-Wagon from halfway across the world, that's really cool.
Man, this is our first G-Wagon. I mean, this isn't something that normally comes down Sunny Drive for us to tackle. Interior, right?
Yeah, I talked to him. I said, man, there's probably a couple shops, you know, between me and you that would probably knock that out really well, and he wasn't having it. He said, no, if the Extensive going to do it, I'm going to put it on a boat, I'm going to send it to you.
We must be doing something right.
That's for sure.
Max, what year is this?
98 AMG G-Wagon.
You never know what year these are. I mean, they pretty much all look the same, different headlights and tail lights, basically.
Yeah, they're still big squares.
Yeah. You know, I don't know what it is about the G-Wagon. Either you love it or hate it. It's an iconic body style.
The interior's stock or what?
No, it's not stock. It's been done.
Ooh. Got some diamonds.
Yes, sir. A lot of them.
Diamond stitch been out for a minute.
10, 15, so odd years ago.
In red and black. We can't be having that. Man, the door panels are just shot. I think that's about the cheapest carpets you can get right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's always interesting to see different people's takes on customization. 20 plus years ago, it was probably cool, but not anymore.
We're going to rip every bit of that totally out and just start fresh.
Make something real cool.
Exactly.
You know, the G-Wagon is an iconic luxury car. So we're going to do everything we can, bring back that style and make something totally custom and really cool.
You know what? He's in the right spot, though. Whatever John comes up with is going to be the coolest G-Wagon in Russia.
Oh, by far.
How do you say get busy in Russian?
Hurry up. I don't know. That's not me.
Man, it might sound strange. All the cars, all the trucks we built over the years, this is our first G-Wagon, so I'm pretty excited to get it in and put our spin on it. There's many ways to customize a car, and interior especially. Some are just fads. Some last the test of time. In this case, it definitely hasn't. I mean, it's old, run down, shows its age. It's time for an upgrade. You know, Mercedes brand is well respected all over the world for the high-end finishes. And that's exactly the standard we want to keep up. It's something to make it look current and also stand the test of time.
Oops. I swear I didn't break it.
Doesn't even matter. I mean, look at it. The whole truck's broken.
It's true. Well, they definitely missed the mark on this one.
Right. Mercedes, world renowned for perfection, right?
Right.
That's exactly what we don't have.
Especially the AMGs. They're hand built. These are first, second, third generation craftsmen. And this looks like they might have had about 3 or 4 years of practice.
Right. So I want all this totally ripped out and just start fresh.
Okay.
Of course, new seats,
yes.
New carpet, new headliner, you know, all 5 door panels. Okay. Everything 100% brand new. Let's make this thing cool. You know, the biggest challenge on this is just
making it custom and still making it have that elegant feel.
Neutral colors or colors?
The right tone is going to be even more important in a vehicle like this for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm thinking, a black car, probably just a deep brown.
Keep with the natural neutral colors. Okay.
With the right stitching, right accents are going to look really, really classy.
Okay. Well, I got one other question, though. Jump seats in the back. What are you thinking about on those?
The junk seats.
Junk seats, okay.
Yeah.
I know what that means.
Yeah, we got a little more room for audio in it, a little more sound in it.
Sounds like I have a mission.
A big one. Let's make this worthy of coming halfway around the world.
Hell yeah.
Hey, that's a cool ride.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah.
We got it all the way here from Russia. They put this thing on a boat and sent it to us just for interior.
Okay. That's cool.
It's in pretty rough shape. Got a little bit of a chore ahead of us.
Yeah? What are we doing to it?
I say we start by tearing it apart. Tear the dash apart, get the seats out of it, go from there. No way. Check that out.
Is that what I think it is?
It is.
That's the center cap to a wheel.
I don't even know what the purpose of it was. So until we take it all apart and tear into it, we really don't have 100% idea of the truck over time, and try to put some thought into why they did what they did, but it really doesn't matter. What's going on up there? This used to be a silver truck with a sunroof.
Oh, big.
So now the fun part. Let's get creative.
Awesome.
It's not every day we get a truck shipped in from around the world on Sunny Drive. Now that we have this 1998 AMG G-Wagon, John and Jen can get ready on building that one-off interior that's worth the trip.
Looking at this thing, I got a really cool idea. I think we're going to get rid of these risers. It's just a big ugly box with a door on it. We don't like that, so we're going to throw this away and make new brackets that'll have the seats actually appear to be floating in the car. So what we're going to do to make the seats float is we're going to use some 2x2 square tubing that'll sit on top of the transmission hump and float out across each side, so the seats will sit on top of that. So when you look underneath it, it's just solid open space, and it's going to look really cool. Floating the seats is cool, but I'm thinking we should take it to another level and float the subwoofers too. I'm actually going to take the woofer enclosure and attach it to the seat so it'll move with the seats. Be really good for the truck. Nice tight bass response. Floating subwoofer enclosure is cool, but this alone is kind of boring, so we don't do things like that around here, so we're going to spice this thing up a little bit. I'm just practicing making sawdust. I started when I was 17 years old. My first job was in a stereo shop. Left school early every day and went to stereo shop and went to work. So get a dream, don't give up. Still remember the comment my mother made to me one day. She told me, John, you can't do that. Well, why not? You can't compete with those guys. No, I am those guys.
Right, exactly. Exactly what you just said. Okay, here we go. All right, so John is gonna work the resin, and I got our glass pieces already pre-cut. I'm gonna play nurse to his doctor and start handing him pieces as we go.
And done. Well, everything's set, ready to go. Got it all wet out. Looks great, so now she gets to body work it.
Joy!
We got a lot of floor to cover in this 98 G-Wagon, and I know I don't want to use carpet. So I got looking on the interwebs, found this really cool place called Clark's. Just looking for a little bit of inspiration around here. Hey there, I'm looking for Christine. Awesome.
Hello.
Hey, Christine, nice to finally meet you. I'm John.
Nice to meet you, John.
You know, we got this really cool truck that someone sent us from Russia.
That's amazing.
And we're making a wood floor in this truck, so it ought to be just wild. So, you're the wood expert. I figured I'd come by and check it out and see what you had.
All right, well, let's go take a look.
All right, let's see what it is. Wow, look at all this. This is awesome.
You know, we don't normally get calls for wood for vehicles, but we do have over 100 different species to choose from.
That's really cool.
We've also got some slabs over here. They're all the rage right now.
That walnut is beautiful. I could go broke here. You know, for an interior guy that loves woodwork so much to choose from, just want to put it all in my pocket and take it home.
You ever seen Purple Heart?
Oh, that's one of my favorites. Looks like it's got a nice curl to it, too.
Yes, it does.
Wow. I was kind of thinking maybe we can find something a little bit thinner to be able to work out.
You want to check out our veneers?
Oh, I'd love to see what you have.
We have a great line of veneers over here.
Sounds perfect. Let's check it out.
A veneer is a very, very thin sheet of lumber. It's actually cut from a wood log. Anytime you're going to buy a piece of veneer, it's going to be the only one like that.
Oh, wow, look at that. That is really nice. Here you can see where it book matches together and they've laid it out. Basically, it's where they slice it off the tree.
I actually have some over here. You can get about 25 sheets of these in a 3/4 inch board.
That takes a big razor blade.
Yes, it does. Veneer is a great way to get the most use out of a beautiful piece of wood, especially if it's highly figured.
You know, thinking about it, I do believe veneer is the way we need to go. The thickness to be able to fit with everything. We can glue it down to our aluminum substrate and it'll work out perfect. Man, this is really, really nice. I'm almost thinking that burl may be the way we need to go with on the floor of this truck. It's almost a growth off the side of a tree. It's not into the grain or anything. So when they cut this and shave it down and roll it out and lay it down, there's no discernible grain pattern to this per se. That's
my favorite.
Okay. Heck yeah, let's check that out. Oh, that's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. Nice figure. Good book match. Darker color to it. I definitely think this will be the one that we use, so.
You sure?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, let's get you wrapped up.
Okay, it's all marked out. Just got to start cutting.
You know, there's an old saying, measure twice, cut once. You know, that's especially true when you're quartering a near-perfect 1960s Jeep Willys. You know, Bob's done a great job prepping it, but now is the moment of truth. You know, his first cut's going to be right down the middle.
It's a little bit more difficult because the way Bill set it up, we can't just, add 8 inches down the whole thing. It's got to turn into 6 inches by the time it gets to the front here. So when I started out, I just wanted to work like at a custom car shop. I was always buying magazines, building models, tearing apart bikes. I worked at a machine shop, worked at pretty much anywhere I needed to learn the skill that I needed. One of the tough parts about this job is going to be the roof, because as soon as you cut it, I'll cut across here with the cutoff wheel, and then I'll cut from the bottom here. This is the second time I've done a job like this. It isn't something people normally do. It's just so time consuming and involved. But me and Bill got a pretty good handle on it.
The 1960 Jeep Willys is cut in half. You know, Bob can get to cutting it side to side. You know, to save a headache later, he'll be cutting around the door jambs. So we'll need to replace as little metal as possible.
Okay, now that we got the wider, we're going to work on the longer. So the cut, I decided to put it here because that's the high part of the crown. And that's the easiest to fill in. Because if we filled it back here, we'd have to make kind of a sloped piece. But here we can just use a flat piece of metal and then just hammer it to shape. When we do the roof on this, that's going to be probably the toughest part. It gets really floppy when you cut it in quarters like that. There's no supports. That's what you got to watch out for. You'll get a piece in your eyeglasses. So you got to be really careful when you're doing that. A lot of people start out wrong. There's certain ways and techniques you got to do it so it turns out right in the end. You don't want to build yourself into a hole. We also got to cut the inside. And that's going to be a little bit trickier because we got to miss a bunch of stuff. There's an inner piece and it's like kind of in the way. I don't think it's off that much, so I'm trying to fit it in there. See, there we go. We're gonna have to cut through multiple layers, so I'm gonna have to do that with a really long Sawzall blade. Hell yeah. Success. Now I know how to do the other side. When you cut a car into 4 pieces, everything doesn't line up perfect because the car isn't a box. It's got multiple curves, compound curves. It's just a lot of things to figure out. What we did is we cut the back of the cab off, so we had to cut through all this structure and everything. And when we rebuild it, we're gonna have to put all that structure back in. So it's more than just looking cosmetic. We gotta actually engineer it back into it.
I love the direction we're going on this custom interior on this 98 G-Wagon. Wood floors, floating seats, and now for a custom console.
We're going to go ahead and draw up the center console. We've copied and pasted the same object a couple of times, and that's how we're going to get our stack. And we're going to laminate those together to build up our height. Traditionally, John would probably fabricate this using hand tools and run around the shop. But the idea is we're going to let the technology do the work for us so that it frees us up to go and do some of those other hands-on fabrication techniques we like to do. This is super easy for me to do. This is totally in my wheelhouse. It comes from doing trade shows and scale models for over 20 years.
Cool. See ya.
So we're hanging up right here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna massage the first 2 so that we get over this build out.
We'll just pull this out, flush trim it to the hole.
Yep.
And be done. It's the parts that the robot can't do. I mean, I guess it could, but I'm gonna outrun it. That looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do now is just take all the parts that the CNC made and get them all glued together, get them stacked up where they need to be so we can start body working them, get them shaped in. That's the gist of it. It's gonna work. All right, so we've got our stacked pieces together and ready to go. What we'll do is we're gonna take and make a backside that floats above the rear, out to behind the seats, and everything just kind of be nice and open back here. So I'm gonna make my box. So that's gonna be the passenger side of the console. So now it's just a matter of making a couple more pieces for the floating look.
You're building a box.
This is my science fair project. I got this set up on stilts so I get it exactly where I want it. I can make both sides the same. Helps bring everything together nice and square. So it's like Legos. Put them all together. We'll get them stuck in here, start glassing it up, body working. This thing's gonna look real cool.
The 1960s Willys Jeep is officially in 4 pieces. But before we can weld it back together, Bob's bracing it together to add structure back into it. Then we can weld it all back together, make something totally different, something that's never been made before.
This is gonna space out the back of the cab, and then we're gonna tack this to the cab. So what we got here is a 6-inch spacer, so you don't have to hold up a tape measure all the time. Okay, now that we got these all braced up, we're ready for the inner structure. We're just getting it 8 inches all the way down the whole center right now. Now what I'll do should hold a nice flow. So we can make our new piece right here. I'm going to do another one of these right here, and that'll hold the rest of the roof in place. Oh yeah, that looks perfect.
On a build this complicated, everything comes down to what we do as we build it back up. Everything flows off this moment. The strength and rigidity we create now is going to pay off later. That's why a project this size takes months and months. All the little choices now have a huge impact. You know, once this hits the road, it's got to be perfect. And it will be.
I got something.
Is this what I think it is?
Yes, it is. What you see it. We'll sit that out right there.
This is like Christmas.
Yeah, I splurged a little bit.
Wow.
Because of all the wear and tear, it's not every day we make the floor out of wood. So we're going to make the Burlwood veneer for the 98 G-Wagon floor extra tough and stiff by gluing it to an aluminum sheet. And then we're going to stain it.
And what we're doing is a veneer to line it up. If we cut it perfect and then try to lay it, we'll never get it laid on there right. So even if we were to screw this thing up and go to try to get another one,
right,
it wouldn't match. So, one shot. And that was the easy part. No turning back now. We'll roll this out, make sure we don't get any bubbles. That's that. I'm gonna grab the router and get this thing trimmed out.
Holy cow. The router bit he's got in here, the shank is too long to be able to get everything lined up correctly. So what John's doing is he's making another router surface to beef this up. That's a cool trick, man.
Do you know I got magic tricks up in this place?
I didn't see that coming.
This piece is ready to go. All we gotta do now is get Lewis to stain it. Once it's stained up, it's ready to go back in the truck.
Alright, so John picked out this really nice burl walnut veneer. What we're going to do first is we're going to get it sanded in preparation for stain. And that way when we put the stain, it won't show. This is going to be a really natural color stain just to highlight the natural beauty of that burl walnut. What I really like about this stain is I have more time to work with it, so I can take my time and kind of rub all this in really well and make sure everything is absorbing properly. So whenever I apply stain, I like to just go in a circular motion that kind of ensures that everything's nice and uniform across the substrate. And then what we'll do is we'll take our clean rag and we'll start to wipe this off, and you'll really get a better idea of what this is going to look like once we have our clear coat on it. Since this is flooring, we want to make sure that it's well protected. We're going to have several coats of clear. Fill in all the grain, make sure no dust and dirt becomes an issue down the road. That clear really brought out the grain of the wood. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Now we just got to get it over to John.
A custom car sets you apart from everybody else. You want to be that average, boring guy. So I always have something custom, even if it's just my daily driver. They'll have rims or just its own look. And that's what I've based my whole life on, just making cars like that for everybody. This is one of those arts that might die off because not a lot of people can do it. It's hard to find people that want to learn to do this stuff. They say they do, but then when they start into it, they're like, well, that's way too hard. And they quit real easy. Hopefully a few young guys are interested in it and gonna want to do this stuff. I like building cars. That's my hobby. That's my lifestyle. I don't think I'd ever do anything else.
custom game, you're never really done looking for improvement until it rolls out the door. You know, we were first thinking of neutral colors for the 98 G-Wagon, but with all the custom details that John's handmade, we're going to go bold with the Lamborghini orange leather.
So, we've got all my 597.11 pieces for the seats done, ready to go. All I got to do now is sit here, sew them all together, and well, haven't you know, when you're building custom things, you can build all day long. It comes to a point when you got to know you've got enough, or you need that just one more little thing, and we need that one more little thing. Oh, yeah. Just one of those things when you're building and you can't stop yourself and you're creating, you just keep doing more and more and more. But this thing came all the way from Russia, so I guess we'll pull out all the stops.
It's been a long time coming, but this G-Wagon is finally done. The owner can't be here to pick it up in person, so I'm going to send it to the Port of Houston, where it gets shipped all the way back to Russia. Everything looks perfect. I just want to look at it, you know, before it gets in the container, and when you look at it, you just, who's this? Oh, that's Slim.
What's up with it, Bill? What's going down, man?
What you doing, man?
What's up, John? What y'all working on, right? Me and my bro in the neighborhood. Trying to replace this bag, man. I busted.
Hey, that ain't one of ours, right?
No, it ain't nothing yours.
I know Slim and Raymond, you know, they're just coming up. They say for a part, but I know they're really snooping around to see what the latest and the greatest is.
What y'all working on, though? I see y'all got something going.
Let me
right in there. I need glasses right now, man. And what you done did to it?
Oh, G-Wagon, it's going halfway around the world, man.
Wow.
Going back to Russia.
Russia?
Yeah.
Oh, man, worldwide with it. Let me see.
Every time we come over here, always something different.
Lo and behold, man, it was a whole other creation coming out of here, man.
Another Stinson bill.
Check this out.
Oh, man. Oh, man, look at that, man. That's sick. Oh, man. Come on, man. This dude done put wood flows in the G-Wagon. Oh, man, I got a brain freeze. Look at that. Floating seats, come on, bro.
We got rid of the box that the factory seat sat on.
Yeah.
Okay. And built brackets to hold the seats up in the air so it has that floating look. That way when you look in, it's nothing but wood floors front to back in this thing. So we didn't want anything getting in the way of it.
Bro, you gotta do this my Cadillac, man. We gotta do this.
Needed this. That's
right.
Crazy. Color looks unbelievable.
Killer.
I mean, anybody walks up to it, that's going to get your attention. And once you have their attention, you're going to keep it with the floating seats, the wood, all the custom accents. You did badass.
Great job, man.
Great job. Hey, what's up with the peanuts in the dough pounder?
Man, we had to have a design and texture, so we carried that pattern from the doors into everything to flow together.
What you done did to that center console? I see you got the big iPad screen in there.
Yeah, man, we just took and threw away basically all the old factory stock stuff, came up with our own idea and made something that's clean.
What y'all got going on in the back? I see the seats way back like a Maybach.
Yeah, man, we got you set up.
Oh, that's sick, man. I could never fit in a G-Wagon, but I see y'all finally did something for us tall folk, man.
Yeah, plenty of leg room in here.
And you wouldn't believe how much work goes into something like this to make it look this simple.
I bet. Now you gotta get driven around in this, man.
Yeah, that's the only way to travel. Yeah. We got one more surprise for you in the back, though.
What you got back there? Let's see, man. Oh, that's clean, man. That's clean. Y'all threw the subs in the back on the seat. Okay.
So that way, no matter where that seat's at, sub's not in the way.
Both of them can move.
We got your peanut panels in it, too.
And I love that piece of panels, man. Making me hungry.
You know, John, Jen, you always raise the bar on every project. This is truly a one of a kind, and something I'm very proud of. You know, the bar has been set very, very high with this G-Wagon. Can't wait to see the next one.
That's crazy, man. I see why he came from way around the world. I'm just happy it's all the way around the
show.
We gotta do this.
Well, while we're waiting on the transport guy, let's go ahead and get you a bag, man. We'll get you a gift.
Let's get it. Let's get it. That's why I like coming here, man. Y'all give me some good ideas.
This frame, like nothing.
You know, with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally.
You know, Rat Rod, there's nothing specific how to do anything on it.
That boy's on the ground.
This is a real nice 75 square body with a real long bed.
I got a little problem.
Let's
tires rubbing. All we have to do is put a wishbone in place.
It's gonna look a lot cleaner, and it's done right.
Oh, no!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
The core of Extensive is come into Extensive, have some sort of suspension work. You know, that's any custom car, you're going to have suspension work. It's the foundation of any vehicle. That's what Extensive is built upon. You know, suspensions to me were, you know, using the trade that my dad passed down to me, just using those skills to create something cool, to modify a vehicle lower to the ground, but that little trick of maintaining ride quality and handling is not just anybody can do that. Whether it's lifted, lowered, off-roading, car shows, or really all of the above, we build every suspension specific to the customer's needs. I mean, every day you get up, you come to work here, it's something different thrown at you. And you learn to adapt, you learn to evolve, and every job that comes in, we progress and get better and better and better, and just keep pushing those boundaries. And this morning, I'm giving a vehicle back that's the perfect example for what we do. It's a 1928 Rat Rod that was in bad need of a modern suspension setup.
What's happening, man? Morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
How's it going?
Man, I'm good. Today's going to be a real good day for one of the two of us.
Hopefully me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, a rat rod isn't something we normally work on, but it's really cool to get it in, to really focus on.
That's the reason why I brought it to you. I wanted something one-off. I wanted something really cool, and I wanted something that was over the top.
Man, you got it, man. You know, rat rods are kind of the Mad Max of vehicles. They're purposely made to look rough around the edges. But when put to the test, these things get after it. You know, that's what's real cool about working on your car. You know, rat rod, there's nothing specific how to do anything on it. So to let the creativity flow, build something real cool and unique, I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah, the car's already a one-of-a-kind build, and I definitely can't wait to see what you've done to it.
Yeah, one-off build for you. It's a one-off build for us also.
Perfect.
Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Come on, Lulu. Check that out.
That's it right there.
Right. Drop it down, Lulu.
Man, that boy's on the ground.
That's right, man. It's sitting flat on the ground.
Man, hell yeah, I'm loving it, man. Man, when that thing hit the ground, I was excited. Man, I was pumped.
The car looked really cool. It was already unique, but we had to put it over the top. First thing we had to do was get in the shop, get it all tore apart, get those old leaf springs out of here, and just start fresh. You know, we could have just put some bags on the front, a couple of brackets, and sent it on its way, but as unique as this vehicle is, I wanted to come up with something that just grabs your attention. I came up with a cantilever system just to put it over the top.
You did everything that I was wanting, plus more. Man, that cantilever system is just, man,
it's pretty cool, huh?
Man, just doing the geometry just to get that to function is the reason why I brought it here. Man, that cantilever front suspension, it was state of the art. It also matched the old school look of the car. I really like that. It's different.
You know, in the rear, too, we just took off all those springs and everything and put a tooling suspension on it with a bag on that. So the ride quality's there, the handling's there. It's probably the only thing comfortable of driving this is going to be the suspension now.
Well, that was the whole reason why I brought it to Extensive, is because I wanted the suspension to be one-off, and I wanted it to be a very comfortable ride, and I bought it to drive. I didn't buy it to sit in the garage. I bought it to drive.
Hell yeah. And, of course, you know, we couldn't paint it, especially in, you know, Houston, the humidity that we have here, you know, let the atmosphere do its thing, and just the rust just took over, and it just blends everything in. It looks like it's been there for 100 years.
The craftsmanship and the work that you do.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
Man, Bill, thank you very much for the work, and I'm going to enjoy it. I'll see you around.
You got it.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, one more job well done for us. One more out the door. But it's time for me to get back to work because we got many, many, many more to go.
Project.
Ren, I usually don't talk about your record driving skills, but a couple parts fell off on the way here.
Not this time. It's ready for you. This is how we got it, just like this.
Whose is this?
Guy named Eddie. He's on the way. Good luck on this one, buddy.
We're out. They're gonna leave me with this one, huh?
Yes, sir. You got this, dude.
You know, a project like this is pretty much on that line. You know, do you spend a ton of money, ton of time to make this a really cool truck, or chop it up, sell it for scrap? Because Ford was busy making things for the war, not too many of these 42s were ever made. So, to this day, it's one of the...
Hey, Bill!
What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Edward Wilcox.
Hey, nice to meet you. It's your truck?
Yes, sir. 1942 Ford pickup truck. My dream truck.
Oh, yeah? This is a dream come true for you?
A dream, man. I've been working on a lot of stuff, but this is the one I want.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. It's my baby right here.
So, why 42 Ford?
Well, you know, the 42 is one of the rarest trucks. To me, it has a lot of class and style with it. It's the first one that had the flat nose in the front. I think is very unique, but it needs a lot of love and attention.
It does. I ain't gonna argue with you on that one. Mm-hmm. So what do you see when this truck's all done? What do you see here?
I see something bad. I mean, I want a full custom job on this.
You want us to take this truck and just totally remake the whole truck over for you?
Yes, sir, but in parts. I'm going to have to do a little at a time. I've been looking for this truck over 20 years, and it's been a long road for me to find it, and I finally found it.
Hey, I'm totally cool with that. You know, a project like this can most definitely be overwhelming to a lot of people. So,
yeah.
How far do you want to take this?
Well, Bill, I would like to get everything underneath done first.
So just start out with the rolling chassis first, getting the foundation all set.
Yes.
You know, it has a straight axle on the front.
Yeah.
You know, getting rid of that, put a Mustang 2 style front end.
Sounds good.
You know, disc brakes on it. You know, a good rear end in it. 4-link on the back.
Yeah.
And are you wanting it adjustable at all, or just stationary?
I would like the static ride of it.
So no adjustability, you just want to...
Just something that I can just enjoy.
So just a static drop on it, so like coilovers on this would be ideal. Get that stance right, all you got to do is get in, start it up, and ride.
That's what I'm talking about.
No buttons, nothing to mess with, just ready to roll. You know, this truck has 80-year-old technology, so what we're going to do is just build a Mustang 2 style independent front suspension that's really popular in most hot rods. And a 4-link in the back with coilovers all the way around to give it a good ride and a really good stance.
And Bill, just to let you know, I have the engine and transmission, so I'll be bringing over to you a lot of parts.
That's even better. So what we can do is get the stance right, the ride right, get the engine, transmission in it. You know, get you a column in it so you can steer it. I mean, you can push it around and do whatever you want to do to be able to go on that next phase.
Sound like a winner.
Let's make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
You know, this 42 Ford, it's in rough shape, you know, but it's a dream truck to someone. You know, with any dream, you got to start with the foundation. Like, you can't buy an old house and just put doors and windows in it when the floor is falling through. You got to start with the foundation. In this case, starting with a solid frame, brand new suspension, that is ground floor. That's where you start with. And then once you have all that established, you can build upon that. Then you can, you know, get the body panels right, get the paint right, interior. That's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth stage. You know, I'm glad this truck's been brought in here. You know, we're going to get him hooked up, get him on the right track. You know, if it's us that's going to finish the truck, or if he's going to take it and build it in stages all himself, this is where it's got to be started with. forward on the lift. Right away you can see this truck has a big problem.
Appreciate you getting on up there, Timmy.
Hope you don't expect much.
You know, it's just about to come tell you what we're going to do to this, and it just got added, right?
Put it right back in the ocean. That's where it looks like it came from.
Man, there is nothing left of this frame. Like, nothing. You know, this is his dream truck. He's been wanting an early 40s Ford for quite some time. Finally got it, but man, it's in rough shape, right?
Hopefully he got it cheap.
We're going to be building this in stages. So the first stage of this is we're going to build the front suspension, get rid of the illustrated axle. We're going to put a Mustang 2 style front end with coilovers, front and rear, 4-link for the back. Give it a really low stance, something that looks really good. We'll put brand new brakes on it, wheels, tires, and he has his engine trans that we're gonna mount in here also. That with a column so he can steer it, he's good to go. That's his stopping point right now.
So you want to mess with this frame? You're gonna call him and see if he can get another frame, or we're gonna build one?
We have to change the frame. There's nothing we can't even do with this. It'd take more time and labor to try to repair this than it's worth.
So that's basically where you're at right now. You want to make a rolling chassis for stage 1, and then whenever he gets ready to do phase 2 and phase 3, if we do it or somebody else does it, all the suspension and the drivetrain's done.
Yeah, that'd be 100%. Okay. So one other thing, it's not leaving here with this. Go out of here looking like that. I'm gonna break that to him as soon as I get on the phone with him right now. Let's go ahead and get it all tore apart. You know, front end off, cab off, roll the whole thing out, and we'll get it going. All right, man.
Yeah, grab that corner. No matter what the build is, it's always better to fix the chassis and suspension first. It saves a ton of time and heartbreak later. You know, a lot of times people ask you how you like to get projects. When you do get them like this and the guy does want to do it in sections, it's kind of relief because a job like this would normally take at least a year, if not longer. So it's kind of nice to have something that comes in, leaves, and then we get a fresh start if he brings it back.
This is the easiest teardown ever.
Right?
Yeah.
Now you get the front end off and the cab off, you can really see how bad this frame is. It's all split here. It's all rusted through. This whole core support is just old and nasty. If you put any kind of power to it, you're going to wrinkle it up. Luckily, he found another frame for us to start with. So essentially, we're starting back from scratch with a new chassis, but a way better chassis. Sometimes we build our own chassis on a project like this. But to save a bunch of time, the owner sourced a used frame that's going to work perfect for what we're looking for.
This guy brought in another chassis?
We told him how bad the other chassis was, so he found this one. You know, this one looks like it had a small block in it too. So take some of this out, but at least the front of the frame is all still there and it's not rusted all the way back like the other one was. Yeah. Let's get in there and bolt it up. Take some of this other stuff off and then we'll go from there. Because we're adding the LS with a lot more power, we're going to box it in to help support the frame, reinforce it, and then also give us a good platform. We're going to add our Mustang 2 front suspension to have a crossmember that comes down and comes back up. So that'll give it something really good, really solid to tie into, which will make it a lot stronger. And it will also take some of the torque for the motor to keep this thing from twisting up in the front. I mean, you can see over the years how much it's not really consistent. I'm trying to straighten it up. But you can see right here, how much the frame will twist just back and forth. So that's why we're wanting to put a plate all the way down this side to here. And the same on this side. You have something that's a C, it wants to collapse the ends. You make it full boxed in, it's super strong. Basically what I want to do is line up this corner with this corner so it gives us this whole valley that the weld will fill in all the way down. It won't be standing up on top of the frame. It fills it in and it's a nice looking weld. Now the bottom one I'll raise up 3/16, cut it, and it'll be good to go. Now you can see right here, it's corner to corner, corner to corner. Now we can put a weld all the way down there, and put a weld all the way down the top.
the shop, especially with the old friend driving up in it. Corey, what's up, man?
What's going on, Bill?
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, all right. This the latest and the greatest?
This is the newest one.
This is a real nice 75 square body with a real long bed. Corey owns a local body shop, and I've known him for a long, long time. So what's up, man? What you got doing?
Let me show you what I got. I got a little problem. This tire's rubbing on this bedside right here.
Well, yeah, it's touching right now.
It is. So the rear end's not totally centered up.
Right.
The wheels, the offset of the wheels, they come off of another truck. I mean, they work on the truck, but it's a real tight gap.
I see.
On this.
Man, definitely riding this low. You can't be doing that. You don't want to be riding around real high in the back, right?
No, I like to ride it low, and as it sits right now, I can't ride low.
What's the other side look like?
But the other side, it's over here. I've got a gap that I don't have over there.
Yeah, you got a little bit more room on this side.
Yes.
It's definitely not 100% center, but even if it is 100% center, you still have the panhard bar, right? You have that fixed area on the frame, and then coming over to the axle, it's going to follow that plane no matter what. So you're going to have a little side-to-side movement. And because that wheel is so large, the tire's got a little bulge to it, and just the way the square body's made, it is so close to the bed sides, the fender well trim, to the tire, right? There's no room for movement. A lot of vehicles we deal with, there's only a couple things you can do to fix a problem. Narrow the rear end, get a different wheel and tire, or fix the centering issue. If everything else is good underneath here, I think all we have to do is get rid of the panhard bar and put a wishbone in place.
Yeah.
That way the suspension can still go up and down, but it won't have any side-to-side movement, so you'll be good with that. You know, wishbone is basically a telescoping bracket that mounts to the frame and mounts to the axle and keeps everything 100% centered.
So, Bill, if you take the wishbone to work, can I just leave it here and get it taken care of?
Man, you know we got you on that, Corey. We'll definitely make it work with what you got and save that paint and save them tires for you.
I'd appreciate that.
It's an easy deal, man. No sweat. Let's go in the office. Let's make it happen. All right. Having a custom car comes with responsibility. It's not buying a car off the lot and you put the keys in it and you just drive it wherever you want. When it comes to a custom vehicle, especially a lowered custom vehicle, you got to learn how to drive it. It's not like driving a stock vehicle. It's how far to turn with big wheels. You can't just turn lock to lock on some instances. You got to swerve around potholes because you have a low profile and how to ride with and to ride low and comfortable and not have any issues. You know, that's just part of the game when you're customizing a build that's already been custom built. You know, the issues that's on Corey's truck with the wheel clearances, you know, it's very, very common. You know, different wheels, different tire, you know, different diameter, different width. I mean, there's all kind of problems that arise anytime you change up anything. In the custom game, the bigger wheels and the lower you get, the better. But it's a fine line between looking good and drivability. Anytime you change to larger wheels and tires, on a lower truck like this C10, you're asking for trouble.
You ready?
Jamie and Lulu are taking off the bed so we can get a good look at what we're working with.
Come on. All right, let it down, guys. All right, thank you. All right, so we got the bed off now. We can see what we're working with. We'll go ahead and start disassembling this thing and start putting our wishbone.
You got it.
We got this.
I'm gonna watch you do it.
No, we got this.
Man, there's not a whole lot of room up here. I mean, the bed sits right here, right? Mm-hmm. You got the exhaust there, you got the cross over there. Instead of messing with any of that, this looks kind of, I mean, it's all right, it's functioning, but I don't really like the looks of it. And I knew we were going to do the wishbone on it. I know he had clearance issues, but, you know, Corey's a friend of mine. I can't be having him ride around looking like this. Now we have of the bed off the C10, I'm seeing a couple more issues. You know, I don't like the plastic line and some of the placement of the valves and compressors. You know, I definitely prefer hard line, because it will last way longer and it looks way better. I think moving this tank, moving the air tank back where the factory gas tank was, it'd be totally out of the way on the outside of the frame. Move the compressors and everything out there, so we'll have plenty of room to build a really sturdy, cool looking wishbone. And taking out all this flat bar and everything, and then boxing it back in with a piece of 2x4, and that'll give some rigidity back in this old riveted frame. And we'll make it look just as good on the bottom of it than it does on the top. Alright, cool. Good.
So we're gonna go ahead and dump the air out of the tank right now. Okay, so you can see they overcut the frame right here, and we want it to look like it was made like this. So we're gonna make a straight line, even with the notch right here, so it looks nice and clean from underneath. It's gonna function better. We're gonna get rid of the DOT line. We're gonna put hard line on it. We're gonna make sure all the air management's in a nice, tidy position. Oh, it's gonna look great underneath. It's gonna look a lot better than it did before. Bubble gum welds. You see, this weld's a good weld. This is actually one of our notches right here. You can see it's nice, consistent penetration right here. And then you look over this other tab right here. It doesn't flow. I can see spaces underneath it. Not only does this weld not look pretty, it's not consistent, probably not strong, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this piece. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this flat bar out now. This is my last piece. I got everything cleaned up inside the frame. We're gonna cut this out, be good to go.
As for the 42 Ford, the real key is finding that perfect spot for the new cross member.
Dealing with a car this old, things ain't where they should be originally. We fitted the front end with the cab, got it where it needs to be. Now we gotta get our wheels where they need to be. We can't line it up where it should be, and we can't line it up by eyeballing because everything's just not right. So we're gonna do the best we can with some plumb bobs, center it in our wheel opening, one on each side, and then run as a straight edge across, and that's how we're gonna mark the centers of our frame. That way we know exactly where to put our cross member at. When I'm setting all this up, lining it up, measuring, not only does that cross member need to be dead center on that frame, but we also want that wheel to end up centered in the wheel opening. You don't want it too far back, too far forward, because it's not gonna look right. So when we get that lined up on the frame, all square, perpendicular with frame rails and everything, we got to come back and make sure our wheel is going to be centered as well before we can go and start welding all that in place. There you go, buddy. All right, now we have everything centered up, everything's leveled, the frame's level, this is level, it's centered where we want it. Now we're going to make a couple pieces to connect this other piece back here. We'll box it all the way in so it'll be 100% strong. Alright, now John has this squared up, tacked in place with a piece of flat bar. We need to make some sides for it. So we took a template, kind of measure where it needs to be, and we'll take this over there and make this out of metal. Alright, Lulu did a good job getting everything welded in. Now you can see this is all boxed in. So this connects this frame to the cross member. Now we can drop the big engine in here. It'll handle the horsepower and the torque since everything's fully boxed.
We've already narrowed the rear end on the 42 Ford. And because the owner wants to ride low, we got to make room for those 22-inch wheels.
Perfect. That is like a Hot Wheels now, huh?
Now John's going to notch the frame so there's plenty of clearance.
off, our tire is gonna go bottomed out. We're gonna put this template inside and outside the frame on both sides, weld it up, and then cut this section out and box it all in, and we got us a notch. So basically, when this truck is bottomed out, like hitting a hard bump, the axle is gonna be way up here. Of course, bigger than that circle is just reference, but at ride height is literally gonna be about right here. So you need that little bit of space and drivability so your axle doesn't bottom out on your frame. Now we got all our notch plates in line with these two parallel bars, and they're all welded out to the frame. Now we can cut this center section out on both sides, and we'll have us a notch. After that, we'll fill them in. Now we weld. So I got the last cap piece tacked in place. Now this is ready to get welded out. Once I'm done, the frame will be done.
I'm gonna figure out how to make a wishbone.
Lulu's getting the wishbone going on the C10, which will look like the turkey wishbone from Thanksgiving when it's done.
First step is get a piece of angle, then we got a straight edge, clamp this to the table, and from there, get some measurements off the rear end, and come back and draw it on the table. Outside to outside is 24.
On a 2-link rear suspension, there's nothing holding the axle going from side to side once you remove the panhard bar. So we need something to keep everything in place, and the wishbone does that by 3 fixed points that are going to hold everything straight going up and down, and has a telescoping point that lets the 2-link go up and down without being in a bind.
Now I can notch my shirt. Right, here's the moment of truth. Lands where it needs to land. That's what we want right there. So now that I have these outside pieces tacked in here, now you can see why it's called a wishbone.
Okay, so while Elu's making our wishbone, I'm gonna go ahead and relocate our compressors back here. I've already started on one and got my marks for the next one. Go ahead and put my compressor here, tack it up. Then I'll know right where I can put my manifold, weld that on. We'll run our air lines to it. Everything's our tank, which is going up front what we talked about. It's just gonna look a lot cleaner, and it's done right. I'll weld these out real quick. I'm gonna mount my compressors. Then I'll be able to see right exactly where my manifold's gonna go. Okay, well that's not gonna work there. The issue I'm having right now is just a clearance issue, so I'm gonna go ahead and just shorten this bracket right here for our manifold. I'm leaving about an 1/8 inch off the manifold, so I'll still have room for my air lines to go in behind the compressors. Let me take this off, go ahead and shear it. You can see there's enough room to get our airline out. It's nice, clean, it's tight, looks good, it's compact. Now tack it and weld it.
The C10's getting really close to getting done. We finished welding, painting, and installing the wishbone.
Now that we got the wishbone on there, everything's perfect. It's going to stay exactly centered between both frame rails, so we're not going to have any issues with the tire rubbing.
Lulu and Jamie are finishing by running hard lines in between the air compressor, tank, and airbag.
Come on with it, move, please, move.
Man, it might have taken only a couple days to knock out.
Go forward. I think that's it, guys.
But the changes we made are going to make a world of difference.
Corey, what's happening?
What's going on, Bill?
How
you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Man, doing good, man, doing good. Man, I know you came in, you was having some issues, the clearance issues of taking a wheel and tire off another truck and fitting it on another truck that wasn't really designed for it. We got you all hooked up, everything. Let's check it out.
Hi, man. Oh, man. Much better. Look like you're ready to drive.
Yeah, man.
Wheels look good.
Right?
Man, the truck's only been gone a week, but seeing it coming out that gate, I'm so happy to have it back.
Beautiful C10, man. Good looking truck.
Man, thanks, Jamie.
Corey, you came in, you had air suspension, of course, you got to have that riding low, but it had a panhard bar on it, but that's just how our kits are designed, right? But in this case, with those wheels and tires, with this bedside, the way a square body's designed, man, everything has to be on the money for everything to play right. Well, now everything has been redone. We cut off all the old panhard bar and just started over. We built a wishbone, so there's no side-to-side movement now. So when you raise and lower, the rear end stays perfectly centered in between the bed sides.
Exactly what I needed on this one.
While we're underneath there, truck needed a little extra love, so.
Yes. Yeah, we moved a lot of stuff around, man. Went ahead and moved the air tank, moved the compressors, moved the manifold, did hard lines to everything, cleaned everything up. It looks amazing under there. It matches the truck now.
Awesome.
It looks real good underneath there now, man, and it works real well.
I'm glad y'all took it in.
You don't want plastic lines on a custom build like this. I mean, you have vibration issues, chafing, rubbing, heat. You don't want any of those problems. I mean, that'll leave you on the side of the road. So a nice hard line is definitely the way to go. Corey, it looks good underneath there. We got everything in its place, but, it's the moment of truth of dropping it down on the ground and making sure, the clearance is at 100% and no issues.
Let's check it out.
Jamie, drop that sucker down. Let's show him how centered it is.
Oh, man, all right. Looks like the wheels fit now, Bill.
Yeah, both sides.
Both sides, yeah. They clear.
Right.
That looks a lot better. I can already tell. Gap here, wheels clear there.
Yeah, it's on the money.
Same gap over here. It's perfect.
Man, it goes straight up and down.
Exactly what it needs. That way I can roll low.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you, Bill, and thank you, Jamie, for everything that you did.
Man, you're very welcome.
Have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
Lulu and Jamie always got my back. They did a great job. And Corey, enjoy driving your truck around as low as you like.
Take it easy.
The roller chassis is coming together on the 42 finish, mounting the LS and add a new steering column.
I'm glad Tim boxed in that open channel frame, because this is a whole lot of motor, and I don't think that original frame would have held up. So with that said, with it being boxed in, shift it over that way, should have no problems holding this power plant. Right there. So now we got suspension done, the rack in place. We're gonna install the steering column inside the truck, get it all mounted up, and then we're gonna connect our steering shaft from the end of the column to the end of the rack. First thing we're gonna do is take that bottom plate off the floor that the original steering column went through and make a new one that's flat. That way we can install this lower column mount, which we just call it an eyeball, because when you put it in the floor, you can move it around, pivot it however you want. That'll get bolted back up to the floor, and the steering column will slide through here, and that's our lower mount. Now all we gotta do is make us a new panel, the same shape as what came out, on a new piece of flat metal. What I'm doing now is just figuring out the center of my lower mount. We need to cut out a hole about a good 3 inches. Perfect circle, see? With these bolt holes, then we'll slide our column through, and the column will get mounted to the bottom of the dash. Does it fit? Of course it does. Just about the right spot we need it. Now the only thing we got left to do is connect from the steering column to the rack and pinion. What we're gonna use is this piece of 3/4 DOM that slips into this U-joint. And from here, we're gonna come down to another U-joint with a heim that'll come right off the frame, and then from there to the rack. Take a measurement. Now check it in place and test it out. All right, this is the moment of truth. We got the steering wheel. I'll get this mounted on the column. Give it a few cycles, left to right. See how it feels. All right, everything looks good. Tire's nice and smooth. See what it does with the wheels on. But for now, all we gotta do is weld this out. Steering is done.
We're getting really close to being done with stage 1 on the 42. Jamie's going to put on those huge 22s.
Looks nice. I like those.
One thing that's been bothering me since I've seen this truck is that grill. So we're going to replace it with an original vintage grill.
That looks much, much better.
You know, in the world of custom, there's extremes. There's extreme low and there's extreme high and, you know, everything in between. When it comes to being the lowest of the low, there's, you know, a certain thought process of what all has to be done to create something really, really low to the ground. And you're thinking about fender wells, you know, how big a wheel is going to fit underneath there. In some cases, a new frame being built. I mean, there's a lot goes into, you know, when something's sitting on the ground like that. You know, as far as lifted trucks, you know, it's not just throwing springs on or anything like that. You know, that's a whole nother thought process of what suspension is going to work the best at what height. You know, the different shocks, the different wheels, different tires, different brakes, different everything. I mean, there's a lot to be thought about when you're building custom suspensions. Custom suspension is part of the custom build. You gotta have it.
Bill?
Man, what's happening?
Oh man, I'm just here, brother, waiting on you.
Yeah, well, yeah, everybody's waiting on me, right? Can't build them fast enough.
That's right.
Man, you came in, you know, you had your dream truck. And a big, big dream.
Oh, yes, I do.
You know, phase 1 is complete, man. I think you're really going to like it to finally see all those parts come together.
I cannot wait, man.
You ready to check it out?
Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man. God, you did it, brother. That's what I'm talking about right there.
What you think, man?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And when I went around the corner to see my truck, I said, wow, I couldn't believe all the parts that I had he put together, and I couldn't believe it. I'm loving it.
There you go.
That's the way I dreamed it. When can I start driving?
Right. We're still a little ways away from that one.
Oh, yeah.
We ain't driving yet. That's the next go around. But, you know, phase 1.
Yeah.
I mean, we took the parts that you had and just built what's becoming your dream truck. We got it on the lift and just noticed the frame was totally rusted out. So luckily you brought us a new frame, good foundation. We can start building front suspension, start building the rear suspension, coilovers on it, just to get that stance right. We took the wheels and tires that you supplied us and we put the wheel up in place and just built all the components to make the wheel and tire fit on there, to make everything work properly. And then kind of, you know, give a little throwback look with the original grill and the styling that's there too. I think it just makes the whole project look a little better with, you know, the classic styling still there.
And it looks a lot better that way than how I had it before. I'm happy, man. I can't be no happier than what I am right now.
Right? Well, let's check out the back. You can see the suspension and everything underneath of it.
Oh, man, this is what I'm talking about right here.
You know, usually you see we do air suspension or coilovers. In this case, you wanted that static, low all the time, so we went with coilovers on the back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we built a parallel 4-lane so you can put whatever power is under the hood, this suspension can handle.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
You know, with a big notch in the frame, so you got plenty of wheel travel. So you still have that comfortable ride. With that wheel travel, still has plenty of room, so it's going to ride and handle very, very well and be real low.
Oh, yes, sir. That's what I want. And it looks lovely. You did an excellent job with your guy. And I like that. I really do. That's why I came to you.
Hell yeah. Let's check out inside here.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all keep on just surprising me. Man, is nice. That's exactly what I'm looking for right there.
You know, when a truck's in a stage like this, one of the most important things, you know, once you get it rolling, you got to be able to steer it. You're going to be working on it yourself and moving it around, so you have to have a column in.
Looks good. The column, how he did the work was excellent. I think that was a perfect job.
Let's check out under the hood.
Okay.
We'll just grab it. We'll just set it down right here.
That's my baby.
Man, you see it all coming together now, really, right?
Man, it looks nice.
You said you got about 800 horsepower, huh?
Yes, sir.
It looks right at home underneath here, right?
Yeah.
Built a new crossover, added the rack and pinion steering, built the control arms, up, round, lowers, we built the motor mounts, built the trans mount. Man, you set up.
It looks real nice, man. You did a lovely job on everything. Hey, this is the first phase. I can't wait till the second, third, fourth, whatever, how many stages it is.
That's totally up to you.
A little at a time, so, you know, I'm trying to do it. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, man. You know, it's always cool to help somebody out that's been waiting and waiting and waiting to get their truck built. You know, Edwards had this dream for quite some time, and it's cool to help somebody out. That's what we do, man. See what needs to be improved and get after it. 1960 Jeep Willys. Now the work really starts getting going. Putting all that metal back in place, you know, that's a huge job. But we're just really getting started.
Looks better already, huh?
We still don't have an engine for it.
I'm trying to find a late model Hellcat motor.
Oh, Lord, look at this thing, man.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
Let's see what happens here. Man, it always makes for a good day. Just take a break from the shop, come out and check out the new slab. Relieve a little frustration. Do a Donut's going to be short-lived. This is soon to become Extensive Metalworks' new headquarters with a lot more space. Extensive started in one small little 30 by 40 shop. For the past 25 years, we've just been building and building and building, and we're busting at the seams right now. There's nowhere else to build. Here we are, brand new property, about to build an even bigger facility, 8.5 acres, starting out with 30,000 square feet, and we'll see where it goes from there. We have plenty of space to keep going, keep progressing. I never would have dreamed this, so I can't say a dream come true, but this is the next phase in Extensive Metalworks evolution. We have a whole lot left to do before the new shop is finished and we can move in. But some things can't wait, like the record. It seems like we just bought it, so I'm going to run over to RPM, see my buddy Ryan.
What's happening, man?
What's up, Bill? See what he's got on the lot? Get that new record going. Man, you know the 5500 you built me is a badass truck, but I got a little problem with it.
What's that?
You know, our builds always get bigger and better. You know, they've been getting heavier too. So I'm just feeling like I need a little bit bigger truck. I'm just overloading the one we got right now. I think it's time for, you know, a trade up.
Cool, let's go find another project.
Let's go check it out. Man, you got all kind of stuff out here.
We just sold him a new truck a year ago. What about something like this here?
Man, it's a big old truck.
You know, with Bill, whatever he has is going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger.
75 ton?
100 ton.
100, huh?
They go bigger.
Man, this is what I'm talking about right here. This size truck, I won't ever have a worry about anything again. But the International, man, I like that. Let's check that one out.
That's the one you need, come on.
Good looking truck, man. Love it. I love the pewter. You know, I'm usually a black truck guy, but pewter looks good. You know, just looking at the International, the other trucks are just a little more industrial. The International just has that look of just wanting to be customized.
26,000-pound GVW, so you can haul the weight that you need to haul.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to worry about.
No swinging and banging.
Man, I love the wheelbase of this. You know, the air suspension on the back, so we can get even lower, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's a must. I'm seeing a lot of potential here. Maybe split the bumper, maybe give it a little bit more length. Once you get the bed on, you get the toolboxes on, we can build a running board that comes from the front fender all the way back to the back, you know, right into the boxes itself, and really finish all that out.
Brand new equipment. You're going to chop it all up?
Yeah.
Just like you do with everything.
That's what we do, man. See what needs to be improved and get after it. So once you do what you do, I get it over to my shop and do what I do.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Let's do this one.
Bill's going to do his own custom stuff once we're done, so we need to hurry up and get in action and take care of our side. Our cabin chassis that we're using has a long extended frame. We're going to need to whack that off at the back so we can have our pivot point, so we're going to cut the frame off at the right length that we need.
Now we're ready for the bed, and next step is going to be set the bed on the frame. Okay, coming down.
We're using a steel bed, 12,000-pound deck, 102 wide, thing that Bill puts on it. Get that welded on, bolted down, get that mounted up, and we'll move to the next step, which will be toolboxes.
Okay, push. This is the toolbox that we're going to install. We call it Monster Toolbox because it's the biggest one. It's a 78 by 20. Alright. This is huge. Go in some more. Slowly. Right there. We use silicones to seal the holes. That way the water doesn't go into the toolbox.
Yeah, alright. Bill took care of me so good on my dad's truck. We're gonna give it that little extra pizzazz. Sneak it off to the paint booth. Add this color and blend it on down here on the side rail. Give it that little extra customization.
We just got the truck back from the paint. It's ready to go, so now we're gonna put the pylon, which they painted too. We're gonna do the light bar after that, and then keep on with the winch cable and tow some trucks.
You know, it's real cool to build a rolling business card. This wrecker is going to be one of Extensive's shop trucks. You know, something that we use on a daily basis that gets the job done, but it's got to look real cool while we're doing it. You don't want to be riding around a regular old wrecker, you know, that everybody else has. When somebody sees our truck go by, I want not only the wrecker community, but everybody to go, damn, that's a cool truck. Oh yeah, it just happened to be a wrecker too. What you think, Timmy?
This thing's bad. Really nice.
Little upgrade, right?
First thing I noticed, though, it's got 22.5, so we should be able to haul whatever we want.
No more problems.
Is the deck longer on this one, too?
Way bigger, man. I mean, everything about it's just huge. Oh, RPM did real good on it, man. But it needs a little bit more upgrading. I want to build something that is not only a cool record, but I want it to be a cool truck.
Well, I already know you got something planned for here.
I mean, definitely got to build some running boards, you know, from the bottom of the cab all the way down where the lower step's at. From the front wheel to the rear wheels. Fenders over the wheels, you know, get rid of the mud flaps and all that. That's it. Okay, Bill was absolutely right. That was definitely the fastest teardown I've ever done. In the process of figuring out how we're going to do the running boards for a factory truck. You know, a guy getting in and out of the truck every day, it works. But it just doesn't look cool. It don't look custom. We're going to fill in all this void in between the toolboxes and the fender, you know, pretty much from wheel to wheel. I want to have a nice, clean running board that's going to hide all this and have one long step. So it's going to look cool and be functional. It's going to be fun. You know, we're at one of the very beginnings of the process. You know, first you got the idea. Second, we're going to transfer the idea over to the chipboard. I'm going to make a pattern. Check and see if it fits to it, man. But in the process of doing this, you're thinking in your head, hey, how can I make it cooler? How can I make it better? This is going to dead end right into the box. You need to make that a little longer.
That looks pretty good.
I got a little piece of scrap just so we can start bending and just make sure we don't bend ourselves into the corner. You know, I've bent pieces before and then it won't fit into the brake. So I'm just bending this at the shape we're going to bend in a big sheet. That way we don't waste a big sheet of metal. That won't work.
Yeah, that'll be the last bend too. We'll make it. Good morning.
What?
Yeah, man, I finally cut it.
Who are you?
It's been a while since I cut it. It's been a little over 3 years, so
dude,
feels so much different. It's not all on my face when I ride, but you know, it's still taking getting used to. I keep on rubbing my face and my beard's not there. It's kind of crazy.
Well, it's good to have old Jaime back.
Right on.
You know, for me, a big key to metal fabrication is making it look like it came from the factory like this. We're bending the running boards on the 22 International. We're going to make it match the overall shape and flow of the factory truck.
Come on down.
Ready?
Yeah, try that.
You know, it's really critical in bending anything like this with multiple bends to make sure every bend is in the right spot. If you mess up on the first one, all the other ones are going to be out of whack and crooked. It's going to be, we definitely don't want that.
We're at this bend, right?
Yes. I don't love bending metal. Just satisfying, you know what I mean? There you go. Shit, man.
Looks good.
Yeah.
It's definitely change the look of that thing.
There's one way to find out. Push it in a little bit. All right. It's pretty close. And now you can kind of see where all the bends actually fit on the truck itself. One clean look all the way from front wheel all the way to the back. Damn, that's pretty badass.
You got to see out there what Bob did that Jeep. He cut the whole thing in half this way. He cut it that way. So the Jeep's now in 4 pieces.
Oh, man. What y'all talking about?
I was just explaining to Max how Bob just walked right up to that Jeep, just looked at it, and just cut it straight in half.
Man, you'd be heartbroken. I brought in Bob for one of our biggest metal jobs in a while. The owner of a pristine Willys Jeep wants to give it that mean bulldog look. So Bob quartered it, making it wider and longer. We got it all braced up. Now the work really starts getting going.
It looks totally different.
Mm-hmm. Cutting the cab up into 4 pieces, you know, it's just a start. You know, putting all that metal back in place, you know, that's a huge job. From that to building the frame, chopping the front end up, widening it, building a full bed, painting. After all that's done, huge interior job. And we still don't have an engine for it.
What motor are you going with on that one?
Oh man, you gotta have the Hellcat in, right?
You did decide with Hellcat?
Yeah. This truck came with an old straight 6, but that definitely won't cut it. The Hellcat's a 6.2 with over 700 horsepower stock. Way too much power for it, right? So that's just right. It's pretty much a race engine, not something you normally put in a truck. I know it's next to impossible to find a new one, right? Supply chain crap is all out of whack.
You know, we're a year out on those.
So, you know, let's go. The next best thing is trying to find a pull out of something, you know, late model, very low mileage, you know, clean engine.
So I got a few feelers out, and the ones I've found so far are either, you know, they've been in a high-speed wreck, so the whole front's mangled up.
The Hellcat on it,
you know, so we got to have an
actual real Hellcat.
Yeah, I want the real deal.
Gotta have it. Hopefully, shouldn't be too much longer. We'll have something to fit in there.
Yeah, we're gonna need something pretty quick, man. So, pedal to the metal.
Yeah, you ready? Y'all have fun.
All right.
Today, I'm running around town trying to locate a Hellcat motor for this Jeep Willys. Houston has so many incredible little places for parts, but you gotta know where to look. Hola, Jefe!
Hey, how you doing, brother?
What's up, my man? So I'm here at Tex-Mex today. You know, it's a junkyard, so they have all kinds of stuff. And what some people think is junk is big money to this guy. Man, you got all kinds of motors over here.
We sure do.
You keep all kinds of good stuff, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Some of these motors just look like complete junk. You know, they've been on fire, they're wrecked. That's a new, LT motor?
Yes, sir.
Got a little hot, huh?
Yes, a little bit.
But a lot of stuff you can just pull off, replace, and it's still fully usable.
2006 5.3 out of Chevy Pickup 4x4.
That's a good motor. That's one of the hot rod motors. Everybody's wanting the LSs. This one's not going to be here long.
Yeah, somebody already have put down.
That was already sold?
Yes, sir.
That happens. Ooh, big Cummins diesel.
Yes, sir. 5.9 diesel motor. All 5-dash pickup.
Everybody wants one. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of good stuff here that we could use, but I'm really on the hunt for that Hellcat. So if you find one low mileage, brand new in the box, any one of those, give me a shout. We'll come over, I'll grab it, and we'll get it in this project.
Back at the shop, we're getting busy on the metalwork for the Jeep. By stretching it out, we gained in between 6 and 8 inches on the body. Now Bob's gonna make it all seamless.
Okay, right now I'm trimming this piece into here. That'll be the start of this. You notice these are rounded on the ends and this is squared off. We're gonna round these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split it right here, and then we're gonna actually hand hammer it all around. Okay, we got it all hammered out. What we did here is we made the ends round, and then it'll have a nice finished edge, just like the rest of the doors do. Okay, now we got this welded in. We got the lines here rounded off, bodywork, it'll look perfect. We made an extra long piece. We're gonna use about half of it to match the contour of the cab. See how it mates up to it really nicely. But to do that, we're gonna have a problem because they don't really have a roller for doing this. So we're gonna make some special tooling. It should be pretty cool. Okay, let's looking at the junkyard.
Since I opened Extensive over 2 decades ago, I hate throwing stuff away.
Probably even use a coil, but I don't want to ruin something they might use.
As a lifelong fabricator, you just never know when you can use something. So I'm definitely not surprised Bob using old parts to make a new tool for that 60s Jeep.
This is too big, huh?
No, that's perfect. We need 3 of them. We're going to use these old U-bolts here we found in the boneyard to build our tooling to bend this. What we're going to do is we're going to weld 3 of them together, and then we're going to use a rubber mallet, and that'll give us our curve. That's why it's a good idea to never throw anything away.
So I'm new here at the shop, and having an opportunity to work with a guy like Bob Grant is just amazing.
That looks pretty good. Like that.
Okay.
We're gonna weld them in like this.
So they don't teach you this kind of stuff in school, so it's really cool to learn how to do it. It takes a lot of experience and years of work to really figure it out. So I'm having a pleasure learning it. As you can see, our tool came out pretty good. Lines up perfectly with our bend. So now it's time to put it to use.
This is a hard piece to form because there's 3 rolls we gotta do here. The edge is a little bit wavy, so I got this hammer. We're gonna fine tune it. Worked pretty good though for some old U-bolts. Okay, we got it pretty good now. Matches our pattern. Might be a little bit long on the sides here, but we'll check it out and see how it looks. The ribs here match these. What I'll do is I'll cut this out and butt weld it all. body line around the back to match the cab perfectly. So we got our new piece in here. That new tool really helped us out. Matches the ribs perfectly. We'll install the other side and get it all ground up. We got this corner all ground down, all the body lines match up. Next, we're gonna build some filler panels for these. Cut out our pieces and pre-fit them. And then we'll start tack welding them in there. Okay, so we got this all cut out, but when we were cutting it, I noticed there's like a good 1/2 inch of lead right here. So evidently this thing got hit pretty bad at one point. I'm gonna cut out that area. I'll re-roll another cap piece. We noticed it kind of hit the inner structure a little bit too. Well, you kind of see all the damage here. So this whole corner is built out of lead. That's not even a real corner. Looks like I could maybe get rid of some of it just by digging it out. Maybe hammer it a little better. This piece I'll have to replace though. All lead right there. So my next step is to remake this little flange here and roll this little piece. So this is how they should have fixed it the first time. So back in the day, they used lead to repair a lot of damage on cars, and they'd put it on with wooden paddles. They'd heat it all up and put it on, and they'd use it just necessarily the right way to do it. A lot of people like using it, but I don't. It's really poisonous. It stays in your system. Actually looks pretty good. High octane, unleaded. It gets pretty exciting seeing all the pieces go back in. So it's starting to look like an actual vehicle. Yeah, it'll be all ready to go, just like factory.
I'm on the hunt for something, man, and I'm hoping you're gonna be the guy that's gonna help me out. A lot of guys only look for parts on the internet, and I do too. I'm trying to find a late model Hellcat motor. All right, let me get his number from you. But I found as much success going old school. You know, picking up the phone, calling everybody I can think of. 75,000 miles, and it's been run to the track. Yeah, that's not really what I'm hunting for, man. I appreciate it, though. The customers, they don't care if the parts are hard to find. They just want what they want, and they want it yesterday. One was on fire. I definitely don't need that one. These Hellcat motors are race engines. A lot of times they end up destroyed, being driven too hard or crashed. Oh no, no paperwork? Yeah, let me look into this and I'll get back with you. It doesn't have paperwork, but it's still got a chunk of frame around it, so I don't know that
that sounds stolen just a little bit, right?
Well, on to the next one. We're trying.
Almost finished with those custom steps on the 22 International. So Jamie's out there putting the final pieces onto the design. We got a little filler piece in between the running board and the box, Jamie. So all we want to do is, we got this step hanging out. So let's just cut the little end of it off, give it a nice little gradual step into the filler.
Yeah, that's definitely what it needs. We could have just capped this and been done with it, but we took the extra step, a lot of cutting, some bending, folding, to go ahead and add this cap to tie in, and then we're going to add this piece to tie into that. It's all the things you really don't see that takes the time, but when it's all together, it looks like it's supposed to. I could have just left the box alone and not added this piece, but I'm going to see this truck every day, and it's going to ring over and over in my head. I could have done that. I should get my other piece right here. Getting a little freedom to do kind of what I want to. I'm really happy with it. Bill's definitely got the confidence in me to take care of this by myself. There we go. I'm happy with it. Bill's going to love it. I'm going to be able to look at that and be proud of it. Birds are chirping, dogs are barking, metal's flying. fixing to weld some stuff.
The 22 International is going to be our new record that'll represent the shop. So of course it needs to fit the part. So I'm thinking a meaner bumper that'll give it the right look.
So with everything that we're customizing on the truck, you know, this bumper right here really stands out. It's too short, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and splice it, add my 6 inches in between, give it that nice aggressive look from the front so it matches the rest of the truck. I'm going to do this in 3 pieces. My middle section first, stick this in the roller, just give it a little shape. Now you can see it's got a little curve to it. That's going to be way too pitched forward. The bumper be touching the wheels if I leave it pitched down. Edge a little bit right here, stand it back just a little bit more till I'm happy, so I can get that perfect pitch where it's flat instead of just tucking down. Oh, you see me running my hand across it like this. Basically, I'm seeing if my fingernail grabs it. If my fingernail grabs it, I know it's too high. If it's just a smooth transition with my fingernail, I know that's right where I need to be. Then we'll go ahead and start on the sides. Gonna roll out. And that's tricky here. You know, it's not like the middle piece. I have a radius going this way, so I need to trim this piece off because I don't want it being short on this end. I still want the same distance so the bumper's even all the way down. The bumper's forming up real quick. I like the shape. Go ahead and start tacking in, walk it all the way down. Once I get this side, duplicate it, do the other side, trim it. Next, we're gonna be adding this piece. Now this is my center mark right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure between these holes. Find my center. Bang, bang, boom. We're gonna tack it. I'm going back and forth, because I don't want any of these ends, you know, they're loose, you know. I'm clear right there. I'm not over, I'm not under. I'm making sure I'm consistently even all the way across. Once I get it all tacked in, then I can come back and start filling in between my tacks. As you can see, I got the bumper stretched now. It was a lot of work, but final product, man, this thing's sharp. It's gonna look good on that truck.
Max is great at what he does. You give him something to do, consider it done. And wouldn't you know, you found that Hellcat for the 60s Willys Jeep.
I got a buzz online that Buddy Lynn, who's like a local car collector, he's got one. So I'm over here now to see if we can make a deal and get this thing.
Man, finally got you out of here.
Yeah, how are you?
Man,
you got a couple cars out today, don't you?
pick your poison. What you thinking?
Wow. I've always heard Lynn was a little bit of a car collector, but I didn't know that it was to this extent. You got a little bit of everything.
Got my baby right here, the Demon baby. We did a lot of modifications to it. Awesome. You know, top end, bottom end pulleys. You know,
she's full go fast.
She full go fast.
This guy's got Jeeps on tracks. He's got a side-by-side rat rods.
Then your boy over here did this as well, Justin.
Real nice. I think he's got a little bit of everything. Is that a big wheel trike?
She did that for my wife for Mother's Day, man. You know, one of a kind.
She got good taste.
She's happy, I'm happy.
That's all about
I get to buy what I want to buy as long as she gets it.
You're right. Speaking of buying, you got a motor I'm looking for.
We got a little something over here for you. You've been waiting on, man.
Let's go check it out.
We got it. Let's roll. Being in the car game, you know, you come across everything and everybody that wants to buy certain things. And I happen to have a 2019 Red Eye Motor and Trans. Yeah, there she is, the golden girl. What you been wanting, baby?
That's exactly what I've been hunting for.
She ain't missing nothing, baby. Wild Hornets, the old Capone HP2. She has a little cam work pulley system. Top end of it's done. You know, whole 9 yards.
Red Eye.
There we go, baby. That's her.
Just putting down, what, 11?
1175. Like I said, by the time you get done with it, 1200. You know how that goes.
It's got a whole bunch of oomph in it. Whole bunch. How many miles do you think's on it?
Give or take 25, 35.
Perfect.
Right up in there. Now, my question is, what is this going in?
It's going in a 1960 Jeep Willys.
Wow. Wow. That little bit of Jeep truck for this hump. That Willys gonna do a Willy. I would love to see that, though.
I appreciate you holding on to it, because I know if I didn't show up and get it,
somebody was on the way.
I guarantee
told me to be here in 20 minutes. If you ain't come, I promise you they was coming through that gate.
Well, let's get it loaded up, man. I'll get out your hair.
It's all love, baby.
I appreciate you, man.
All right.
That is exactly what we were looking for. This one show up that just weren't up to what we were looking for, because either it was in a wreck or, you know, it's just been beat to death because it's a race car motor. But luckily this one looks really well taken care of, and that's a little bit less pressure on this build now that we found the heartbeat.
piece to fill in the 60s Willys. It's also the biggest piece, that roof. Wouldn't you know, our old parts coming into use again.
Does that look like a top to 59 Caddy to you?
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it?
That's the one Bill said we could use, off Slim Tug's car.
Cool, let's do it.
We left a little bit extra on the sides just in case, because it's better to have it a little bit too long that we can trim it to fit. So let's see if it comes off here. Alrighty.
We're gonna take the roof skin over here, put it up top. So it looks like we're gonna cut it about 10 inches. Just a little bit better way to do it, because you're not welding so much in the middle of the skin, because it always wants to sag. And under there with the dolly, and it just takes forever. It's doable, but it's kind of a waste of time. Looks better already, huh? I know this looks crazy and bad right now, but once we get it all cut out and trimmed up, it's gonna look perfect. Let's see how it fits perfect. That's just the way it goes, huh? Man, this turned out good. It looks all in proportion. It's lengthened, it's widened. I mean, it's everything they asked me to do. This thing's gonna be really, really cool when it's all finished.
Bob killed it on the metalwork on the 60s Jeep. Juan and the body guys, they got after it as well. And now the Jeep body looked like it rolled off the Willys assembly line back in 1960.
Well done. Man, I love it, man. I love seeing it in this state compared to what it was a couple weeks back. Chopped up in many, many pieces. You guys killed it, man. Seeing the cab in this state just gets everybody excited in the shop and gets those creative juices flowing. So much work has been done to this already. We got many, many, many man hours, but we're just really getting started. Oh yeah. Just getting the front end where it needs to be. That's a whole nother project in itself. We're gonna build the whole frame, build all the suspension, then put the engine, then put the trans, then build the firewall, building the whole handmade bed for it. This is such a daunting project. We got a long way to go, man. Oh yeah. All right, man, it's all yours. You know, if you're not from Houston, you may not know it can get really cold in the winter. And today, it's going to be freezing. So we're trying to make room to fit that big old International inside, where we can make the custom toolboxes. You know, the power line that was on it, it was cool. It's good looking for most wreckers, but in this case, you know, I want something a little more little box. One of the major challenges in this is getting the look right, because you can just build a box, put it on, and just totally ruin the look of the truck. I got my piece of aluminum square tubing soapstone on it, and I'm just going to trace around the cab so it goes along with the rest of the truck.
The soapstone lines are good, but a lot of times they're real hard to see once you got a saw right on it. So I'm just gonna lay me down some fine line tape right on the line so you get a better visual of where you're cutting. A little bit of this soap helps the aluminum from sticking to the blade, clogging it up. Helps lubricate it, keeps it from sticking. Our secret cutting saws. Be available soon on the web store. Now we got the first piece all cut out, and we're gonna get another full sheet and lay it across the back. Now we need the magic stick, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna trace this edge off the cab, but off of this, to get that back piece the same shape as this. The reason for that is the back one's gonna be an angle, so it's not gonna be exactly the same as this. It's gonna be a little taller.
You got it so it lines up?
I hope so.
Good shape,
fits a cab really good.
And we're making some headway right now. We got the back part of the wall in. We're starting to build from the back wall out. So it's a lot easier to do that other than building a box and then putting shelving in. So put the shelves in and then we'll just keep on building from there all the way out. Just doing the quick layout of the door spacing. Right there. And we're about to cut out the door openings and we want to make that 100% right and true. We get one shot at it unless you want to buy some more metal. 8-inch aluminum isn't very cheap.
Made me a template with some chipboard of that wraparound that comes from the top down to the side. Majority of our lines are straight, so what I'm gonna do is cut most of it I can with the straight edge, and then all the curves I'll go back with a jigsaw. That fits really, really well. Take this off and I guess put it on the floor over there. It's a little heavy. Start building these doors. We got all the door frames welded in place, sanded and smooth. All I need is this measurement here. So our door is going to be about 21.5 inches. We got to overcut it about 3/4 of an inch on each side and top and bottom. That way we can cut the corners out, break each side, and that'll give us a partial box. Makes the door stronger, it won't flex as much, and you know it'll tuck inside this frame that we built here. Now all we need is a little handle right here to lock it, keep it from opening up while you're driving. Kind of hard to believe this all started off on just flat sheets of aluminum.
There's an old saying, time to lean, time to clean. I'm never not working. The best way to prove that you're a hard worker to everybody is to pick up a broom and start sweeping when nobody even asks you to. I feel like a lot of cats my age think that they're going to start running a company at the age of 23, which is not always is the case. You know, you have to start somewhere and work your way up. You got to do the grunt work and you got to earn it. It all boils down to work ethic. You know, and you get more opportunity to move up. My love of cars started when I was maybe in middle school. My father had a really nice looking truck that he bought one time, and since that day I've always kind of wanted something custom of my own. It's nice to have something that not everybody else has, but something that at the same time says a little bit of something about you. So I decided to go to a trade school, and that's what really kick-started everything for me. Extensive stood out to me just because of the crazy amount of detail that goes into all these cars. I knew I wanted to be a part of that. I'm learning more and more every day, and it's going to bring me right where I need to be.
We made for the 22 International are coming together. John finished the toolbox. We had it all color matched, and it looks great. And to top it all off, we're adding over 100 LED lights.
You know, Bill wanted a ridiculous amount of lights on this truck, and exactly what we're doing. When you think you got enough lights on it, put about 100 more.
So this is the most wiring I've ever put in a vehicle. I know we have a couple thousand feet of wire in this thing, and all of those right here.
We spent a ton of time on this record so far, and I've been wanting to show off what we did. First show, I told him, man, I got you. I'll pick up Blue Thunder on our brand new record, and we'll all go together.
Look who's showing up already. Lord, look at this thing, man. Look at that bumper. Those lights, man.
Whoa, look at those toolboxes.
Damn. You did your thing here.
What you think, man?
Man, that's gorgeous.
That's not the same truck that we just built?
It don't look like it anymore, right? You guys guys are phenomenal in doing what you're doing, but, just had to take it to the extensive level,
We make sure that it works good, you make sure it looks good.
You never really know how someone's going to take it when you take their work and work on it from there. But, these guys really appreciate what we do.
Look at this, man. Oh.
To have someone like Ryan admire the work that you do, that's a high honor.
Man, look at that. All the lights on the motors and everything, it looks really great.
One of the first things I wanted to do is fill in that big void where the batteries were, the gas tank. You already have the toolboxes in the right spot. Tenuous box pretty much from the front wheel all the way back to the back. And of course we had to split the bumper and make it lower too. So it just looks a lot meaner when it's coming down the road at you.
It's beautiful with the stretch and the molding in there and color match.
I wanted to get rid of all the chrome and just make it all look the same all the way front, all the way to the back.
Man, it looks wonderful. We built a lot of records, like a lot, but nothing like this one. This one is like gorgeous.
What you doing my pylon, man?
Had to change up a little bit. Hey, it was cool. But I was envisioning something just to totally cover up the back of the cab. I'd like a little more extra storage. So, we built the toolbox to match, the body itself.
You built that by hand?
That's all handmade in the shop, man. Every bit of it.
I think I need to order like 12 of them from you, man.
We can make that happen.
That toolbox setup really flowed together, and for functionality, it's really, really perfect for the truck.
Once that was all built, we just had to finish it back up, put the light bar back on the top, so it's a legit tow truck now. Speaking of, you ready to get Blue Thunder loaded up?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Everybody at the shop kills it. I mean, working late, but, a team comes together, cool stuff comes about. I'm ready to get to a show off the new record, show off Blue Thunder, show the world